Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the second match of the Saturday that we have got for Super Rugby Pacific Round 3. Hurricanes taking on the Highlanders. This game at Sky Stadium. We saw that last game that did take place for the New Zealand sides. Blues versus Chiefs, extremely close one, right to the wire that game went. And this game, I have a little bit of a feeling it might be no different, but hopefully it is a very exciting match. And it is going to be followed by a game between the Brumbies and the Waratahs as well. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be covering all the games that we have got available for this Super Rugby round. But currently, as the table sits, this is actually before the game that we did just see between the Chiefs and the Blues. The Blues, with that win, they do actually move themselves up into sixth. In fact, sorry, they will be, yes, just a little bit ahead of the Chiefs. No, actually below them, sorry. So they will be seventh, I should say there. But that is how they are sitting currently as we sit here in the competition. This game between the Hurricanes and the Highlanders. The Highlanders are yet to get themselves a win this season of Super Rugby. Also, another stat that I did see is the Highlanders have lost their last 3 Super Rugby games in a row. The last time they lost more in succession was a 5-game stretch from March to April in 2019, which included 2 defeats to the Hurricanes. So that's a little bit of a fun stat. Not if you're a Highlander supporter. Of course, that one's probably not what you want to hear at this point in time. But I feel the Highlanders, they have still got plenty in the gas tank to be able to go on and have a good game here. Looking through at their starting lineup. But first of all, we will go the Hurricanes, of course, as they are the home side. Pori Rakiti Stones, Asafa Moore, and Tyrell Lomax. They are the front row. James Blackwell and Caleb Delaney going to be making up the lock duo with Ree Princep, Duplessis Karefi, and then Artie Savia at number 8. And of course, you guys will remember Artie Savia, the man who was able to score that match-winning try for them last week up against the Blues in the final moment of the game. Jamie Booth at 9 with Ruben Love returning to number 10. So Jackson Garden Bishop, he will instead be coming off the bench. We have got Kiwi Lads. What's the weather for you? It's actually quite nice here. We're sitting 20 degrees Celsius currently, which is relatively warm for ourselves just because we don't really get too much hot weather. And also we have got the Hey Bro, I go for the Hurricanes on this one, says Easy. And also Kiwi in there says hi guys, and Hurricanes for the win, says Jason, and Highlanders caned, says Henry Bird there. But Billy Proctor and Balin Sullivan going to be linking up in the midfield. Balin Sullivan in some very good form as of late. Salisi Rayasi at number 11 for this game, coming off his hat-trick last week up against the Crusaders. Another big stat there that I have found is Salisi Rayasi scored 6 tries in the last 6 Super Rugby games, but a big thing for Salisi Rayasi is he has never scored back-to-back tries in 2 games in a row. So this is going to be a big opportunity for him. If he gets even 1 try in this game, that is a new, I guess, personal record for Salisi Rayasi. I'm going to Tasmania in July this year. I'll get to see the Tasmanian Devil. And there says, hi guys, so that will be pretty awesome for you there. And then Julian Savia, the bus, returning back out onto that right wing, and that will be with Geordie Barrett slotting in at 15. So no Wes Hudson in the starting lineup. Instead, they have gone with the bus, who will be trying to drive its way down the sideline, running over the top of his opposite number, which for this game, as you will see there, when we do click this button, it is going to be Liam Coombs-Fabling. So a little bit of a size advantage, could say, to Julian Savia. But the other players in the starting lineup, even the group at 1, Liam Coltman at 2, and then at 3, it will be Jermaine Ainsley, Bryn Evans, and Josh Dixon will be the 4-5 combo with Shannon Frizzell, James Lynchus, and Gareth Evans as the loose forward trio. Falau Fakatava gets the nod to start this match, head of Aaron Smith with Mitch Hunt once again slotting in at 10. Thomas Umunga Jensen has been playing pretty well as of late, so he gets the number 12. For Tuli Pyre at 13. It's been slightly quiet this season so far, but I think as he gets more game time, he will build into it. Liam Coombs-Fabling out on that left wing, like I mentioned. Sam Gilbert out on the right, and then Connor Garden Bishop slotting in at number 15, a young and up-and-coming prospect for the Highlanders who was playing very well last year up until he did end up getting his injury, because the Highlanders, that is one thing they have had so many of recently, injuries. Unfortunately, at the moment, the injury list is almost as long as their lineup for this game of the 15. They have got plenty on there, and also a few players going overseas. Japan and Hurricanes better win this. Don't want to piss off Miss Dixon as well. Into there, says Sebastian. So yeah, at this stage, the Hurricanes, they will be trying their best to get themselves a win, but will their best be good enough? We will have to wait and see. The Highlanders, they're actually, unfortunately for them, they've lost their last 6 games against the Highlanders. Almost had a heart attack last game as well. Says Aiden, also, how are you doing today? Hope you are doing well, says Carlos. And yeah, hope you are doing well as well, mate. I'm already excited, even though the flight might be cancelled by COVID. But my family had COVID a few weeks ago, so there's no way they're going to get it back. Says, hi, guys. And Corey says, hi, welcome into Live Stream. Corey, these are the benches for these 2 sides. For the Hurricanes, Seula Amali, Xavier Numia, and also it will be Tavita Mafalero as the front row replacements. Once again, they've gone Devon Flanders and Braden Iosi, as those 2 are sensational off the bench. Richard Judd at 21, Jackson Garden-Bishop at 22, and then Peter Umaga-Jensen will be slotting in at 23 for the Highlanders. Reece Marshall at 16. He's got a stat about him as well. Reece Marshall at the moment, he has got himself, has made 24 carries per 80 minutes in the 2022 Super Rugby Pacific campaign, the most of any player that have played at least 15 minutes this campaign. So Reece Marshall doing very nicely for himself off the bench. Daniel Leonard-Brown, and also it will be Ma'u, who will be there at number 18. Manakai Selby-Rickett linking up with Marino Makaeli too, and then Aaron Smith, Marty Banks, and Scott Gregory will be the backline replacements for the Highlanders. And having Aaron Smith with that amount of experience, it's going to be a very useful thing to have 280 on the Canes. And also Rebels, when Let's Go and Fiji and Georgia is beating the Rebels 7-0. A good start for the Fijiana women's side to be able to get themselves a nice little lead. But what we will quickly do is we will go like this, and we will go like that as well. I'm just going to bring up this. There we go. So we do know exactly when this game is going to be getting underway. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will be a standout for both of these sides? And host, did you know that Shane Warne died last night and Rod Marsh died the night before? I did indeed. And it is tragic news for Australian cricket, not just losing one legend in pretty much a 24-hour gap, but also another legend. And it's Shane Warne as well, the king of spin. I was going to say leg spin, but just the king of spin in general, really. But Dane Coles, he is not going to be playing in this game. Saula Mali, she's going to be starting at number 2. What's happened to Asafa Moore? That is probably the big question that I've got for myself. So we'll just wait and see the team list to see whether or not he will be off the bench. Richard Judd actually starting at number 9. What happened to Jamie Booth? Where is this team list coming from? Have they made a couple changes? Sullivan at 13, Savi at 14, and then at 15, it is going to be Brodie Barrett. And it says Adam Wright. It is going to be Tupu Tupu at number 16, Numia Mafaleo Flanders. Who else we got? I assume Jamie Booth is out completely, so it's going to be actually Logan Henry at 21. Why have they made so many changes? I assume late injuries has caused them to change. And hi, Hamish as well. Welcome in, Mr. Cookie Boy. Who do you think will win? I think with the records in favor of the Hurricanes, I'm going to go the Hurricanes, but I think it's going to be within 5 points. I think we could see maybe a repeat of that last game that we just watched between the two sides in New Zealand, in New Zealand, I guess you could say, between the Blues and the Chiefs. Currently, India, for anyone curious, they are sitting currently 462 for 7 versus Sri Lanka. Looks like they only won about once, perhaps, in that game, but we will have to wait and see whether or not that will be the case. But a couple changes for the Hurricanes. I don't believe there are any changes, though, for the Highlanders in their team list as of yet. Currently, everyone else looks like they are going to be good to go. No injuries for the Highlanders, something that they will be hoping is the case at the end of this game also. But yeah, a couple late changes. Saula Mali, good opportunity for him to start this match alongside the man who is starting at number 9, which will be Richard Judd, and he is ahead of Jamie Booth, who is out. And also on the poll, I meant to say Hurricanes, but I said draw as well. Says Mr. Cookie Boy, tell you what, it's possible. That is for sure. And also draw beat Rebels, yeah. And there says Max Cottle. They did. They were able to get themselves a very nice one. And the saddest part is that Shane tweeted his condolences for Rod just hours before his own death. Yeah, I did see that like his Instagram story was still up of his condolences for Rod Marsh. And yeah, it's just a very unfortunate 48 hours or so for Australian cricket in general. Like, that's the thing. It seems to be at the moment, unfortunately, like New Zealand, in terms of the rugby players, it was 2 within the same day, I believe it was. And now it's the same for cricket. So I don't know what's going on there in terms of, it's just a weird coincidence that it seems to be 2 at the same time. I'm annoyed if Gatland has landed that kick. I am annoyed if Gatland had landed that kick. Chiefs would have won, says Novmum. I think I can make you feel a little bit better, Novmum. Josh Ioane missed 5 points in the first half, and Bryn Gatland also missed another kick. Does that make you feel any better? Probably not. That probably makes you even more annoyed. Sorry about that. But yeah, pretty much. Josh Ioane, he did miss a couple easy kicks as well for himself, one of which was only about 28 meters out, straight out in front, hooked it away to the left-hand side, and did end up missing out on some points. But Brian Iosi at the moment, 5 carries, 21 meters gained last week. He is a phenomenal talent for Manawatu in the Bunnings NBC, and we'll be hoping to do what he does in the Bunnings NBC in Super Rugby and go the Hurricanes woo as well. And there says Mr. Cookie Boy for that one. But the referee for this game is going to be Paul Williams. And g'day all, hi Hamish, welcome into Livestream I. And by any chance, will you get into football soccer? Because I have a big feeling you would like it. I do enjoy watching it. So hopefully we do get to do some Premier League this weekend. I think the game that we're going to be focusing on possibly is Man City versus Man United. Just because that one's probably, I guess, the easiest one to follow along with. I want to do Liverpool versus West Ham, but my voice note may not exist at that point after the amount of live streams we've got leading up to that, because we've got 5 rugby live streams back to back to back to back to back. Pretty much is the best way of describing it. But currently, Salesi Ayasi hat-trick he did get last week for the Hurricanes that helped lead them to the victory over the Blues. But the big thing is, like I mentioned a little bit earlier on, Salesi Ayasi has scored 6 tries in his last 6 Super Rugby games, including a hat-trick in round 2 of the 2022 Super Rugby Pacific campaign. But he has never scored tries in back-to-back games in Super Rugby. Never has been able to do so. So could this be a history-making night for himself? And also would actually help for the Hurricanes in terms of their longest winning streak against a side. It could actually end up taking them towards that as well. So there's a lot on the line. Jadeja just brings up the 100 for India. He's batting very well. And I'm watching Liverpool versus West Ham tomorrow. As I says, Mr. Cookie Boy, an interesting one. And our Premier League Hamish call, I'll be into that, says David the Mod. And yeah, I'm hoping to be able to do a few of the matches that are coming up. I know that originally I was thinking about doing Chelsea versus Burnley at 4 a.m. And then I looked at my schedule and I went, hang on. Saracens play Liverpool 1 versus 3 in the Gallagher Premiership. If I didn't do that game, that would not have been a good idea. He was an Auckland boy, had an Auckland Blues, rugby let him go. And there says Josh for that one. Auckland boy. So Lisa, he was, wasn't he? Or he plays in the Bunnings NBC for them. That took way too long for my brain to comprehend. I sat like, oh yeah. I remember we're doing a rugby live stream, but Salisa Ayasi, very good player. Any Man City fans on here? Says David the Modern, 14-0 now. Says Aidan, being a Liverpool fan, I don't mind Man United or Man City. Says Mr. Cookie Boy there as well. So yeah, the first game, if we do end up doing a Premier League one, I'm not saying this is a guarantee either, but it would probably end up being Liverpool versus West Ham at 6:30 a.m. If not that game, then after that, I believe it would be maybe Watford, Arsenal, or Manchester City versus Man United tomorrow night. All right, so came from Wellington to Auckland, bro. And there says Loki. And also, Sebastian, thanks for the intro. If young people take anything from his life, please let it be. Have fun, says Gavin Jones. Yeah, no, true, says Josh there. But is he currently saying that the Hurricanes will win this one by less than 12? Justin Marshall also saying less than 12. And then 13 plus is the call from Bernie there for how many they're going to be able to get. But the Hurricanes are home, 19 games played. And the Highlanders, they have only won 6 of those matchups. And hi, Kiwi lads, don't be surprised if it's a draw. There is nothing on the pitch between Australia and Pakistan. I'm looking forward to that stream tomorrow, says Geelong Cats fan. Yeah, it seems like it is going to be definitely going to day 5, which I guess is a beneficial thing for us because we have gotten to see, I guess, 2 days of, or 1 and a bit days at this stage of very, I guess you could say, even cricket for them. It just seems like there's not a lot. So late in the game, perhaps that's when the spin starts to play a factor. I mean, Pakistan currently sitting 271 for 1, or 72 for 1, in fact. So they've got plenty of time left. We're going to get to see Australia batting probably either later on tonight or maybe even the start of tomorrow, which will be when I will be starting my Pakistan versus Australia commentary. I'm not really looking forward to the Chiefs playing the Crusaders next week. Going to be a tough battle. It certainly will be. Although one thing that the Chiefs can take away from their games at the moment is they're winning a majority of the battles in the breakdown. I feel like the likes of Peter Gusto, I call it Sam Cane, is a beast, and he always will be a beast when he does play rugby. And it seems like he's really starting to find his form back for Super Rugby. He had an injury for so long. They're just showing the replay of Adi Savia being able to score that match-winning try for the Hurricanes. And going to play cricket. See you as well. I'll see you later. And also, I really understand you streams. You might get 10 people on. I'll just joke. It says David the Mod. The thing is, it's true. Like, we probably won't end up with hardly anyone watching them. But I think the big thing is going to be, like, it's always, no matter how many people are watching, if we got like one regular who we normally talk to, it always makes the streams like 10 times more entertaining overall. And also got to play cricket. So yeah, and also Chiefs, more consistent New Zealand team to beat the Satyrs though. And there says Josh, and also that was a good game, says Alice revealed. And also we'll come back in Australia, we'll get 500. I'm not worried. Pakistan fielding is horrible, says Geelong Cats. And also Benny has said, morning Hamish, all the way from South Africa. Always nice to watch your live stream, says Benny. And I do appreciate you being here, mate. We're going to be doing a little bit of the Curry Cup perhaps a bit later on with the Riquas taking on the Bulls. That will be a good matchup. And also by Stream says, hi guys, we'll see you later on. And Highlanders will win by 14 with Garden Bishop being key. I agree. Jackson Garden Bishop, he is going to be coming off the bench for the Hurricanes, but Connor Garden Bishop, his brother, going to be starting at 15, and he has been He's been probably, for me, before he got injured, he was one of the standouts of the competition, which I know is a huge, I guess, praise, but he was doing extremely well. I'm a fan of the Highlanders, but I feel the Hurricanes winning. And there's his Uncaged Panther and also Brumbies or Tars tonight. I hope Brumbies can get a bonus point to get back to the top of the table, says Max. I'll be honest, I don't know whether I see a bonus point on the cards. I think more than likely we will get to see maybe a game within 15, probably 10 to 15 points, I think will be the difference between those two sides. But the Waratahs, they are certainly playing well this year. Even though they haven't got a lot of big name players, they're still finding themselves some decent form. That bit of hair is going to annoy me, so I'm going to try and hide it. I'll put it at the back. Save it for later. As I want the Highlanders to win. And Hamish, by any chance, do you have a favourite soccer/football player? Says Mr. Cookie Boy. Oh, I used to love watching. I'm wondering whether or not you'll know who it is. Do you remember Leo Bertos at all? Because he used to be like my favourite player out of all players. And I believe I actually got a Wellington Phoenix kit with his name on the back, or it might not have had his name on the back, but I wished it did have his name. And I want the Highlanders to win it. And are you streaming Brumbies versus Waratahs? We are indeed. We are going to be live for all 3 games of Super Rugby today with plenty more action taking place. I've just realised, is Peter Umaga Jensen coming off the bench? Yes, he is. Oh, sorry, Jackson Garden Bishop, I meant to say. Yeah, he is. I just need to make sure Garden Bishop is the intercept king, as I see Alice revealed, and also I've heard of him. I've been to a Wellington Phoenix game, though. I haven't been to a Wellington Phoenix game, though. I think that would be from Mr. Cookie Boy. And okay, bye, says Uncaged Panther. So we'll see a little bit later on, mate. I hope Pakistan declares at 300 odd so we can bat as soon as possible, says Geelong. And the Canes are the team to back this year, says David the Mod. And also we have got, okay, bye, says Uncaged Panther. And also the Rebels are getting smashed 28-0 in 30 minutes. Geez, good performance here. And the thing is, for that one, it's going to be pretty awesome to see how that competition kind of builds because, of course, first season for Super Rugby for the women's side of it in New Zealand, Super Rugby Aupiki, which does mean then we've got 4 teams. They've got a few teams over there. Maybe we slowly get a Super Rugby Trans-Tasman between the 2 women's competitions. And your videos are amazing, says Uncaged Panther. Thank you very much, mate. And nice to see you again, mate. And also another all-nighter for me here in Chile, says Clem the Fox. Your commitment is certainly there, mate, and it is hugely appreciated you being here for this live stream. Do let me know your score prediction. Let's go Canes, says Clem the Fox. But these 2 sides now making their way out onto the park at Sky Stadium. First home game for the Hurricanes. That is actually a home game, I should mention, because normally we do get to see these sides playing in Queenstown or Dunedin, but Seua Mali going to have a good opportunity here to try and get going in that starting lineup. That is due to Asafa Moore being out, and normally the only way you injure Asafa Moore is probably by like literal detachment of a limb. I don't see him getting injured too often other than that, though. And also, I believe the Football Women's World Cup is being co-hosted in New Zealand. Here's Mr. Cookie Boy. So hopefully we will be able to cover some of that on the channel as well. I'm looking forward to the FIFA World Cup. Hopefully New Zealand make it through. And we do get to do quite a few of those games, even though they'll be at random hours in the night for the Men's World Cup, that is, because that will be in England. But other than that, hopefully it is going to be a very exciting one. Right, we will move the coverage straight in front of my face. So we are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Second game of the day, 5th game of Super Rugby round 3, in fact, sorry. And it is going to be now Richard Judd. That's a lie. I'm not sure why. I'm just saying random names. It's going to be instead Ruben Love. They're actually quite similar when you think about their names. But Ruben Love, he will be kicking off this one for the Hurricanes, going from left to right. This game up against the Highlanders, trying to make history. So Lisa Diasi needs to try how many minutes before kickoff? I would say approximately 0.12. Somewhere around there. I think we got the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown now, and we should be in the Women's World Cup since we are co-hosting, says Mr. Cookie Boy. And also, hey, Michelle, how you doing? What team are you going for? Says Carlos. I mean, I do enjoy looking at the the Hurricanes kit, but I do enjoy watching the Highlanders as they are from the South Island. So it's a bit of a 50-50 at the moment, but kicked off now by Ruben Love, now taken nicely by Gareth Evans up against his old side. We see a bit of that in Super Rugby, and also we have got there Rubes and Dick Love. And there, as says Alice, and also we have got there just asking, do you know how much money it's made for Tonga Relief Fund? I think every once in a while they do pop it up on the screen. I think it's around $80,000 or something like that, but I could be wrong for that number. That one went backwards from Falau Pakatava, a little bit of pressure, and on the weaker left foot, is able to kick it down towards the halfway line now. Geordie Barrett trying to straighten, trying to go straight through, hit hard in the tackle though by Thomas Umaga Genta and Fakatava. Now Karefi going around the side, and also we have got there Geelong. It said Shane Warne died today. Sad day for Australian cricket. It is indeed. And right around the same time as Rod Marsh as well. So 2 legends of the Australian game gone way too soon, but now around the side, Balin Sullivan, 30 metres out now. Richard Judd distributes the ball straight back to Blackwell. Barrett at first receiver, almost intercepted. That's going to be the penalty against, I believe that would be James Lynch's. No, that actually looked like Gareth. No, not Gareth. That's Hugh Renton. What's happened to James Lynch's? How many changes have we got from the starting lineups? He ended up hitting the hand, didn't quite get it right. And well, 80,000 already, that's a lot, says Max Cottle. It is indeed, but we're seeing a lot of tries being scored throughout this competition. I believe this will be a nice, easy 3 points for Geordie Barrett if he does decide to take them on, which it does look like he will be here. But, yeah, the Highlanders have got a few changes in their starting lineup as well. I'll quickly go like this. Who they got? No, they have got Hugh Renton there now with Gareth Evans at number 8. Who else has changed? I'm just going to have a quick scroll through the 2 sides, make sure no other changes. The rest is the same. It is just that one change of Hugh Renton there rather than James Lynch's, who was the captain. So I assume it will be Aaron Smith off the bench as captain. In the starting lineup, you're probably looking at maybe Mitch Hunt or one of your other forwards, such as a Liam Coltman, someone along those lines. But now Geordie Barrett going to be lining up this kick and does miss. He's hit that left post was very prominent in the first game that we saw between the Chiefs and the Blues as well. There's something about maybe the world's on a tilt at the moment and everything's going to the left-hand side. That's going back across. It's going out on Olympia, Hamish, but I think the Wallabies are going to be a dominant international team this year and maybe beyond. Says David the Mod. They've got a very good side, that is for sure. That's a 4 pass from Ruben Love. And now the Highlanders from 40 metres out will have themselves the line-out Aussie cricketers unlucky. 3 former players have died in 1 year as well, says Geelong. And also, by Hamish, I might see you tomorrow if you do Liverpool versus West Ham, says Mr. Cookie Boy. So we will see you later on, mate. But currently, Balin Sullivan, he had a phenomenal game in last week's game up against the Blues. Was looking very strong throughout that one. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. I will just go like this. I will go like this. My hay fever's still there a little bit. It's not too bad, though, overall, I would say, but now it is going to be the scrum feed for the Highlanders from 40 metres out, and Blues just scraped it. But I'm happy with the result, says Andre. Yeah, very close game between those 2 sides, and Chiefs playing Satyrs next week, then Chiefs play them again 2 weeks after that, says Max. And another game that is taking place next week, speaking of these 2 sides, Highlanders taking on, they will be playing the Blues, and that is going to be the rematch of Super Rugby Trans-Tasman. So we see a rematch of the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman final, followed by a rematch of Super Rugby Aotearoa, and then from there we also 2 weeks' time, get to see it all again. Highlanders by 10, says Andre there for the prediction. But currently the Hurricanes, couple late changes for them in this match. They have got Seula Mali in the front row, and then also number 9 it will be Richard Judd. So I assume Jamie Booth and Asafa Moore both out with some form of injury. There's one ball being fed in. Paul Williams says that one's all right. Hugh Renton now, no, it's Gareth Evans, in fact, off the back of the scrum. He is looking dangerous up against this old side. That one's been knocked out of the hands, and it's going to be a knock-on advantage against Folau Fakatau. It looks like he's taken a little bit more time to get into this match. I think that was Ethan de Groot just dodging that ball like he was in the Matrix. Julian Savia, the bus down the wing, but great tackle there from Liam Coons-Fabling. I believe he was in touch. The ball's gone out anyway. They are going to be going back, but Salisi Rayasi, he will be one to keep an eye on throughout this game. He has actually never scored back-to-back tries week after week in Super Rugby. And also, you should be playing out there, Hamish. These Max Cottle, at halfback. I mean, halfback's probably the only position I'd have half a chance at this point in time. But even that, like, I can run like 10 metres and then I get tired. So that wouldn't work out too well. And who'd have guessed? Gain score last week, says David the Mod. Yeah, brilliant game for them. And who do you think is going to take this one, Hamish, says Andre. I did say originally my prediction was the Hurricanes by only a few points, but Highlanders doing decently. Williams, Coons-Fabling close to the touchline, instead throwing the ball back in. The Hurricanes have stolen this one. Ruben Love plays halfback, going back across. I'm so used to seeing Isaiah Walker-Leawere there at 5, but it is actually Caleb Delaney for this match. It's a penalty to the Highlanders. Hurricanes player off feet, and it was either Princep or Judd. I think it might have been Princep was penalised for that one, and Hamish, you should play a hooker for the Canes. And there says Xavier Brown. I feel like other than lineouts, I'd probably be shocking. Maybe the best time win, or may the best team win here. I think it's going to be close, says Benny. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be split by more than, I think I went 5 as the difference between these 2 sides, which would be very impressive if we have 2 games in New Zealand, both extremely close. I'm trying to think back to what the score was. Moana Pacific versus Crusaders. To be fair, that was a little bit closer than a lot of people Would have thought it would have been, and also Landers by 8. Says Max and Blues first win, says Neville, they were able to do it in a very close fashion in that game up against the Chiefs. The Chiefs received that bonus point. That throw was debatably not straight, because if the Highlanders do have to reach on their outside arm to straighten that one up, then that normally tells you everything you need to know. But currently it is going to be play on. Going back across to Coltman, the man who might have been guilty for that light-out throw. He will want to forget it pretty quickly. But he's been going all right at number 2 ever since Ash Dixon did make his way to the Japan. He is currently. And also Reece Marshall has been phenomenal when he does get the chance off the bench. Now going back across Fakatava, taken by Shannon Frizzell, trying to break through the tackle. Savia drags him down, though. Almost gets a forearm in the face from Josh Dixon. On the ground, Hunt now going back to Fatuli Paya, just throwing himself at the line like he's a battering ram. Does make a couple extra meters. The Garut now running straight at Savia. Leg drive going, trying to hold him up there, and that is something Savia does so well. Gilbert, though, finds the offload and does end up getting wrestled down currently. Good phase, playing 9 phases in a row. Ainsley with the little pop pass, an advantage now being called in. Is there a stream leak surely as well? So depending on what country you're in, I know that in New Zealand we got it on Sky, and also I think it's Sansa.tv or something along those lines. They do actually have it. Unfortunately, it's not a free link though, sadly. And if I was Australia, I would just walk off the field, call it a draw, and come back for the second test as well. Says Geelong and Highlanders need to win, or need a win on the board, says Neville. They do indeed. Currently sitting bottom of the bunch, and they will want to change it after this game. Porty Rakete Stone's offside there, and it might be the opportunity for a kick here at the post. Right, if this one hits the left-hand post, it will be extremely weird, because the first kick for both kickers in the Chiefs game and the Blues game, or like when they played each other, both of them hit the left-hand upright for their first kick. Geordie Barrett's just hit the left-hand upright for his kick. Mitch Hunt, what's he going to do in Hurricanes? Oh, Highlanders, sorry, need the win on the board. And also Brumbies will get a bonus point next week against the Rebels. What do you think, Hamish? Says Max. They should anyway. If they don't, they'll probably be a little bit disappointed, and Crusaders struggled a bit, don't you think, Hamish? Says Andre. I thought so. I think Moana Pacifica brought it a lot more than people expected them to. For such a young side in Super Rugby, like that was their first game ever, other than preseason, which of course is completely different. But first game to take the Crusaders, and I'd say it wasn't quite deep water, but it was at least, you know, shallow to medium water at times throughout that game. And they did score the first try of the match as well, which was very impressive. Mitch Hunt now lining up this kick straight out in front. Please don't hit the left hand upright. Someone's decided they want to whistle. That's close. That's hit the left hand upright as well. What? How is that possible? It's a penalty to the Hurricanes, but what has happened? Every game today, first kick hits the left hand upright. Okay. And also we're there, 29-20 to the Gainesville Army, and also Supro says Conserve. Welcome into the live stream, mate. I am very stumped. When's the last time even both players have hit it in one game, the left hand upright for their first kick? And then to have it happen in the game earlier in the day as well. That's 4 in a row that the first kick of the day for either team has hit it, and magnets attached to the left side post. I guess so. Yeah, it's very weird. I wonder if it's going to happen in the Brumbies game up against the Warriors or the Waratahs later on. If it does, I will absolutely I will have no words for it as well. Oh, that's a big fend off from Duplessis Karefi, breaking straight through the tackle to Josh Dixon around the side, now linking up nicely. Caleb Delaney, he's got a bit of toe, but the big lock doesn't quite link up. Now off the back, Richard Judd, a lot of pressure on him by Liam's Coombs Fabling, who looks a little bit strange in that dark blue kit. We're used to seeing him and at the Waikato kit for the Bunnings EBC. Geordie Barrett with a good attacking run, change the background to that face. As I said, Geelong, and also your face just then. Edinburgh, I'm watching the game, but mute the TV, says Concept. So thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate you guys showing and your support to these live streams. We're going to be doing every single Super Rugby game. Salisi Rayasi dragged down by Gilbert. For anyone who does do that, it is 10 minutes 25 currently on the clock for myself, if you do want to try and link it up. So it is roughly the same, but now Richard Judd. In fact, it was going to be passed off to Ruben Love, who does take the carry. Judd now going back across. Billy Proctor, first run of the day for him. Good low tackle from Gareth Evans. And we would have played against a lot of these players for a very long time while he was there. And also Hurricanes, yes, let's go Hurricanes here. JMS there, good run for Pori Rackety Stones, pace from the big prop, and he scores the opening try of the match. And that is pace personified in the form of a number one, the loose head prop, Pori Rackety Stones. And there's something very satisfying about seeing a big man running free. And he has been able to get himself the first try of the match. It is Rackety Stones. We will go like that, and we will go like that, and it is going to be in the 11th minute that Pori Rackety Stones does end up scoring the try. And what a try it is. As soon as he was about 15 metres out, no one was in front of him, and it just seemed like he was going to keep on pumping the legs, breaks through the tackle a few, Renton. Then Sam Gilbert tried to get back, wasn't going to be able to stop the big man, though, and he does go over for the first try of the match. And also Landers giving away too much penalties at the breakdown. So here's Andre there. And Pori Rackety Stones just throwing himself forward like he is a stone and just breaking through everything in his way. Geordie Barrett this time has converted, and now the score is going to be 7-0 for this one. And also what you having for tea, Amish, tonight? Just asking, says Max. So I did end up having a quick little plate of hot chips in between the last two live streams because I could tell that I was going to get extremely hungry in between this one and the next one. So I decided to have a small plate of chips. I'll probably have a small snack in between the next two as well. And then we will be having some sort of meal, I guess, after the game that finishes at 11:45, getting ready for the one that starts at 1:30 if we do end up doing that Curry Cup game. And also, let's go, says Clem the Fox. Now kicked off by the Highlanders in Sky Stadium. It still doesn't seem like it was their fortress for playing their best rugby, but they will be looking to build here. That's a little knock on from the Hurricanes. So now the Highlanders will have the scrum feed here. And we will get to see Liam Coleman go up against, say, Willa Mali, who was in the front row. But Caleb Delaney, his original first run there, I believe, also helped drive the Highlanders back, or putting them on the back foot, I should say. That kind of looked like a Safa Moa in the background. I think it is. I think that's a Safa Moa sitting on the far side of the field. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, if you have got better eyesight than myself. Is it a Safa Moa? It might be. So I think there's some sort of injury there, which is why he's not playing in this game. Also injured for this matchup, it was the number 7, James Lynchus for the Highlanders. And Richard Judd gets the start over Jamie Booth. And number 9, Mafakatava puts the ball in. Ball slightly trapped in the scrum, and Fakatava has to roll it back himself. Now going back to first receiver, it is going to be a good run forward from Thomas Umunga Jensen, still going forward. And it will be him versus his brother later on in the match. Fakatava going to the short side now. Merchan Pearce in the gap. Good low tackle there from Julian, or in fact it was Artie Sabi. Good attack and run forward from Thomas Umunga Jensen. Flat ball, only 2 meters short. He plays like he's a 14th in the group, jumping into that one. And now has put the ball down, and it's going to be going back down the field. Once again, we have got I got a question. As says Jake, go for it, mate. And also, any chance of the Waratahs to beat the Brumbies today? Says the fellow. I mean, there's more of a chance than if it was last year. I'll say that much, because they've been looking pretty good, the Waratahs, in their first couple of games. And also, I do get to see the game. Unfortunately, due to licensing on YouTube, if we were to show any match footage or even the audio of the game, like the commentary, they would end up taking us down for copyright. But I do recommend checking out. There are multiple sources where you can watch this game on a subscription basis, or also the highlights on the All Blacks and also Super Rugby's YouTube channel a little bit later on. I also tried to see Sebastian there. And also, I thought all the games were down south, says Jake. Although now, since we're up to round 3, they are able to have a few little changes. Or Billy Proctor, a bit of a limp. We might get to see Thomas Umunga Jensen versus Peter Umunga Jensen a bit earlier on. And I was like, what happened to the inflatable guy? He is still about. He's in my room at the moment, just standing in the corner. But he is quite large. And with the green screen, it's quite hard to fit him in front of the green screen. But we have still got that emoji of him. So we will go like that. There we go. It's going to be popping up in the corner. There he is. The inflatable All Black Kieran. And we'll go like this. And we'll go like this. Line out throw now for Liam Coleman. Taken nicely by Frizzell. Fakatava across to Umunga Jensen. A bit of a flat ball there for Tulipai. But he's just been able to hang on to that ball. Fakatava now back across to Renton. And with Aaron Smith coming off the bench, that is a huge fountain of experience to have in a later stage of a match that they probably will need it. They want Mitchan trying with the quick hands. Liam Schoon-Favling knocks the ball on. Now it looks like it's going to be either Balin Sullivan or Geordie Barrett. Balin Sullivan holds onto it in the end. Close to the touchline. A little bit of a counter ruck, but they are going to be going back for the scrum. And also, Waratahs women have never lost a Super Rugby game. They're losing about 28-0 at the moment, aren't they, Aidan, if I'm not wrong? And also, we have got they're going to upload my review to the Rebels game tonight and a couple more videos later this week. Says Xavier CR. Staying on that YouTube grind. It is very much so. Like, that's the thing. Consistency is definitely the key for, like, YouTube. Like, if you're uploading weekly or every few times a week, or like a couple times a week, I should say, every few times a week, that sounds like you're just deciding what week you want to upload in. It does help out overall. I'm not sure how it helps out. I haven't really learned the system overall yet, but I guess people then expect for you to be back each week, and they do tune in for your next one. But Judd now going to be going for the scrum feed for the Hurricanes, and that's the Rebels woman Amish. I see. The Rebels are losing. Men's Rebels are losing to the Fijiana. And there says Xavier, and also we have got there. I know I said I was going to play cricket, but my tummy, I was so sore I couldn't even play. Says hi guys there. So hopefully you are feeling a bit better later on. And also that's losing 28-0 for that game. Another penalty. That one is going to be against Bryn Evans. Tackler not releasing. Currently now, Geordie Barry will be kicking this one for the touchline. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will be the next try scorer? Duplessis Karefi able to win himself that penalty for his side. It's a big kick downfield from him, and it does. Oh, Liam Coombs-Fabling only just finding touch with that one. But Artie Savi, he's always going to make those extra meters in a breakdown. I couldn't play as well because my tummy was sore. I didn't play. I couldn't play properly because my tummy was hurting so bad. And there says, hi guys, that one's going to be thrown in, taken nicely by Blackwell. Back to Judd now. The bus, Julian Savia distributing it straight to the hands of Proctor at 12. Did have a very good season last year for Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, and also Super Rugby Aotearoa really found his form in the later stages of the season. Artie Savia now dragged down by Ethan de Groot. Does get out of the way now. Proctor goes back looking for the overlap. Balin Sullivan on the inside. He is a brilliant talent. Him and his brother Zahn both looking like they could have a chance of being the future of these two sides. And now Geordie Barrett kicking it in behind, going for the grubber, and it is going out. And I believe, did it go out on the... Okay, short of the flag, so that is going to be a 5-meter line out now for the Highlanders. A little bit of confusion between the touch judge. He wanted to take it quickly for our Fakatava, I should say, sorry. And also Finsley's I welcome him, Finn. Hope you're doing well, mate. Liam Coleman goes to the very back there, stolen almost by Artie Savia, who rushed up, but it's a penalty. I don't believe he was back 10, perhaps. You've gone early is the call from the referee, so that would have been a harsh one for Artie Savia if he had managed to take it. Okay, so Artie Savia felt that he hadn't gone early. The referee on the touchline must have called it, and that is why the referee in charge of this one, which is going to be Paul Williams, has said that he is going to be out, or he was out of the gates just a little bit too early for that one. But Mitch Hunt now kicking it out. How many times did I say too early in that sentence? About 7, I think it was. Picks up a touch, and now down by the halfway line, the Highlanders now. Oh, yeah, he did a little bit. Artie Savia, and also Kiwi Lad Reed misses you, or says miss you as well. Says, Ollie, where have I been? I've been here each week for a while. But I guess, yeah, that's the thing. Some of you guys do pop in and out. Thomas Umunga Jensen, he's looking like a freight train with the ball in hand. Perhaps him and his brother Peter could also have a bright future in New Zealand rugby, but now going back across Josh Dixon, currently 35 metres out. In fact, 40 metres out from their own line now, and Falau Fakatava looks like he has put it up. The box kick. And also, what do you think the score will be next time Landers meet the Satyrs? Oh, that was an awkward fall for Liam Coombs-Fabling. He almost got put down nicely, though, which is always nice to see. But I'd say it's probably going to be similar to the last one. If not, maybe the Highlanders making it a bit closer for Tuli Paya. Back in the pace now, but dragged down by Artie Savia. Ball protected nicely. Knock on from Sam Gilbert in the breakdown. Tried to get it out the back line as quickly as possible and just ends up putting it down with a little fumble. But now the scrum fed for the Hurricanes. But that man for Tuli Paya, we're just starting to see what that man can do. He was playing for the Crusaders a couple of years ago. Got injured in pre-season of last year's competition. Was out for the whole season. He's now just starting to find his feet again, perhaps in that midfield combo for the for the Highlanders. And the other side of it is they no longer have Michael Collins. Theo Tompkinson, he is injured at the moment. So it's a huge opportunity. Just on the same result as the last time, because all the way, although the Landers doesn't know the phrase give up as well, says get us, that is true. And you inspire me, Hamish, to go to the fish and chip shop and get some fish and chips for dinner, or get some chips for dinners. Says my mum's from cooking, says John Cats fan. There you go. Hopefully, decent Canes for the win, says Jason. And also, Keelan wants to hang out with you Kiwi lads. And there says Ollie. Although Keelan, he's probably a wee way away. And also, with what's going on in the world, might not be the best idea just because of cases and everything at the moment. Do you think Aaron Smith will make New Zealand team for the World Cup, Hamish? Or is he past his best? I think the way that man passes still, he will be there at the World Cup. Maybe after the World Cup, he might consider international duty, I guess, concluded. But for now, I think he's going to be there. Perenara, I feel he will also try and be there. And it's probably between Weber, Christie, and also a couple of those other young guys, such as maybe, I don't know whether or not it's too soon to bring in maybe... no, I'll go those four. I think those four are probably the ones that they'll go with in games for the win. And also, Chiefs were so close to winning 22-24. Blues just came short. We'll come back, says Ryan there. And it was a very awesome contest to watch. An extremely close one going down to the wire. Connor Gardner-Basham now first touch of the match for him. Puts up the high kick. He stripped over his own feet. Or has he? No, somehow has stayed on his feet. Cat-like agility there from Connor Gardner-Basham. I mean, not the first part. That was kind of unfortunate that he did end up tripping himself. But after that, Liam Coons-Fabling does end up trapping it with the foot and puts it into touch. Just a little mistake in Folau Fakatava. Maybe he might be eligible by the end. Do you still hang out with David, George, and Isaac? David, George, and Isaac. It will be Daniel, George, and Isaac, that one. But George comes around probably a lot more often. Daniel is always working during the week and also weekends. He has normally got quite a bit of work to do alongside it. Now going to the front there, it's going to be Artie Savia. Good attacking run, but Bryn Evans, I think he managed to get his hand straight on that ball, and he's been able to rip it away. Nicely done by the Highlanders, and they are going to get this ball back inside of their own 22. Now Dixon continues to run forward, but George comes around often, and Isaac lives about 3 hours up the road, so that does make it a little bit more tricky. But when he is down, we will definitely end up doing some sort of something, maybe a video. We're doing the chicken nugget challenge, I think, when he comes down. Julian Savia drops it cold. And it's another knock on. He's just a little bit disappointed there. The bus, he could see the road in front of him. And he was getting ready to crank it up to 100. But unfortunately, he stalled. And that managed to turn over the ball. And now it is going to be the opportunity for the Highlanders once again. And how old is George? He is same age as me. 22, almost 23. He is going to be turning 23. And about, it is, how many days is it? About 24 or somewhere around there. And we want George, when is he coming? To say hey to all of us as well. And there says, I'm not too sure. It just does depend, or it does just depend on when he is working as well. He has been working long hours recently. Do you visit her when Isaac goes back? No, I do not. She still hasn't forgotten some of the stuff you said, Johnny. I think that's why she's never been on a live stream again at this stage. And I was like, you look 16, bro. Says like, show. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, if I could just go like that, then I get about 15 lines there, which probably increase my age, one for each line. But overall, I mean, as long as I look younger than I am, I guess I'm doing something right, even though I don't know what that would be. But Mitch Hunt now passing it back across for Tulipaia. Now, once again, driving himself up the middle of the field, and that's going to be the penalty, or they're going back for it as well. It will be the Highlanders penalty just inside of their own half. Does Isaac still make guitar videos? Not really. I know that he's working on some sort of stuff outside of videos. You look 21. I will also take it. Cheers. Although, to be fair, I'm 22, but I only a few months. So I guess that's probably, like, I'm in a way closer to 22 than 23. So I'm closer to 21 than 24. Science, maths and that. Currently now they have kicked that one for the touchline, and the line-out will once again be going the way of the Highlanders. I think Ethan the Group wasn't too happy about that scrummage up against Tyrell Lomax. Two All Blacks representatives going head-to-head, and there's quite a few All Blacks battling out there on the park at the moment. Hugh Renton passed it off to Folau Fakatava. Beautiful ball on the inside. It was brilliantly done. Liam Coons-Fabling only 1 metre short now, but Balin Sullivan almost turning it over. Flick out the back from Fakatava. And now Connor Gardner-Basham. Does he back himself? He does. He shouldn't have. And he does end up getting dragged down there. Wasn't a knock on. That's crawling. And it's going to be maybe a try, but maybe not. It's a penalty. 2 goes at it, Shannon Frizzell. And if you showed, you will look 18. And there, and also messing all that, as scientists would say, says Sebastian. And also greetings from Uzbekistan. Welcome in, Felix. Okay, I hope you're doing well. That is going to be not finding touch. And now on the halfway line, Mitch Hunt puts up the box kick. That's going straight sideways at this stage. He's still trying to chase it and keep it in the field of play. Doesn't quite work out for him. And also, we go, how do you guys be friends? So pretty much they went to the same primary school, and then we all went to the same high school, and I somehow got myself into their group. There might have been some bribery. Chicken burgers were always good back at school. But overall, I think they don't regret it. I don't think. Currently now, it's a penalty to the Highlanders once again. Breakdown penalties. They are doing extremely well currently. And that is going to be another one. 55 metres out from the Hurricanes line. It's a bit too far for a kick, I would think. But Liam Coombs-Favling, that was an absolutely tremendous little bit of play between the two sides, or the two players, I should say, in Whakatawa and Liam Coombs-Favling. He just ended up popping the ball up, and it floated for a good few seconds, it felt like. Mitch Hunt going to be kicking this one for the touchline once again. 25 minutes through this game, the Hurricanes scoring the one try so far, and that was actually Pori Raketi-Stones did end up picking up that first try of the match. Last 5 penalties conceded. We're seeing 3 against the Hurricanes, 2 against the Highlanders. And currently now up to the 22, but Connor Garden-Bishop just couldn't quite link up, and then Shannon Frizzell, he grabbed that ball, started crawling. Unfortunately, he was held by Caleb Delaney, which stopped him from being able to propel himself forward without it being second movement. Now Whakatawa going across the Thomas Umaga Jensen for Tuli Paya. There are some big boys in this Highlanders pack. Even when you're looking at the back line, they are looking very good. With strength-wise, Shannon Frizzell driving backwards. That was by Duplessis. Karefi gets straight back to his feet, wins the penalty as well. And Whakatawa, he did end up sealing it off. Killed the contest is what they said. And I mean, college, does Isaac still go to high school? Says Jason, or college. He is currently, I believe he has finished what he was doing there at uni. So he is now, I think he's working for a, what is he working at? A sales or car sales yard? Do you call it a yard over here? Or it's the place that sells cars? Easy way to describe it. Nice cars as well. Looking all right. That's now wonky from them. That's called not straight. And Sayola Mali just gets it a little bit wrong. And now the scrum feed going to be for the Highlanders. We've seen quite a few resets so far, whether it is lineouts, scrum feeds. And hopefully it does end up slowing down in that second half, because currently this is our second game of Super Rugby for the day. Our next one, it is going to be the Brumbies. They will be taking on the Waratahs. I always forget the Waratahs. I don't know why. The Waratahs are going to win this competition just so that I never forget them again. That's a bold prediction. That probably won't happen, but nice to dream. And he's not a repo man, is he? And there's Sebastian. He is not a repo man. I think he does the kind of getting car parts and whatnot, kind of the organising of that side of it. I realize I don't really know exactly what he does other than it involves parts, and also he doesn't fix the cars himself, so he's not a mechanic, but he does like organise replacement parts and whatnot. And now it's going back to Whakatawa. Mitch Hunt off to Fatuli Paya. Good carry forward, but once again, the Hurricanes defence is willing to muscle up. Josh Dixon dragged down by, I believe that was Artie Savi, who wasn't quite able to get onto the ball. Now going back across. That looks high from Tyrell Lomax, just pretty much crushing young Mitch Hunt. Whakatawa going back across now to Shannon Frizzell. Ball stripped away by James Blackwell. Very nicely done. Rips it away. And now it's back in the hands of May. And the office boy says, not sure whether he's in the office. Well, he would be in the office at times, but I think he's also out in the sales, or like the kind of floor. The floor. Do you call it the floor? He's in the floor, not in the floor, on the floor. Being in the floor is more than likely not where you want to be. Garden-Bishop now kicks it in behind, going for it. He did get up, getting smashed, and he's been flattened out by the looks of Geordie Barrett. Bit of a juggle. And now finding the offload into the hands of Salisi Rayasi, the man who wants to score back-to-back tries in 2 matches. They're allowed to go for it there, or are they? No problem. It's been turned back over by the Hurricanes now, and they are still going to continue going forward. That looked like that was very, I guess, hard to tell what was going on for the official in that one. He has done very nicely there. Duplessis Karefi, another big crash ball. This game is just a case of how long can we smack into each other until someone's legs break. But now Julian Savia, the bus, he certainly knows a thing or two about being able to bring some power, I should say. That's a brilliant tackle there from Thomas Umaga Jensen, who muscles up. And what do you do outside of YouTube, says Max Cottle? Is in for work or just in general? And Jody is a big tank when attacking. Hard to stop as well, says DMH Choi. Now, once again, going to be continuing their way forward. Good counter ruck. That's nicely done by the Hurricanes, but it stays on the side of the Highlanders. A little bit of a wraparound back to Liam Coltman, now going straight through. Prinsep drags him down. This is just phase after phase of brutal rugby here between these two sides. Seeing the occasional kick, but as soon as you kick it, you lose the ball. So they don't want to do that too many more times. Liam Coltman now 40 metres out. What more can you say other than, okay, now we've got an advantage. That's changed a little bit, and now it's going back for the initial penalty for Seula Mali not being able to roll away in time. And now 40 metres out. Do the Highlanders take on 3 points from here? They are going to. And also, the Highlanders make so many useful metres, then crash and burn as do you still play Rugby Challenge 4? Not as much as I used to, just because it just doesn't seem to be, I don't know whether it's not as good. And I think the glitches, like they had glitches, and then they tried to fix them and created worse glitches than the original glitches, unfortunately. But I do play it occasionally. Hopefully, I do get to play it a little bit more in the future, and also works as Max Cottle. So this is actually, I always call it my full-time, part-time job because it takes full-time effort, but it is like part-time wage, I guess you could say. Almost like work experience wage type thing. But it is one of those ones that currently, because I did work for high school, I pretty much worked about, I think it was 4 years during high school, or three or 4 years or something along those lines. Because of that, I'm able to still kind of slightly live off that. But at some stage soon, I'll probably have to get myself another job, which will be exciting. Although the problem with that will be, as soon as I get another job, the YouTube content will probably have to cut back just a tad. But I don't really want that to happen because at the moment we're just on a roll and we just keep on going and going and going. And I also don't know whether my boss will be happy with me staying up till 5 a.m. to watch the rugby and then going to work that day. So I'd have to find a good job or a good boss who is willing to just let me still talk at random hours of the night. And that Chunt now be lining up this kick 40 metres out, not really taking a huge amount of steps. In fact, it's a one-step bang for Mitch Chunt as it got the distance. It's gone away to the right-hand side, and that is going to be another missed opportunity. So the Highlanders could actually be on 7 points at this point in time, or 6 points if they hadn't missed their 2 earlier conversions. Now Aaron Smith currently having a bit of a chat. I think that's Reece Marshall next to him and Scott Gregory and Marty Banks. Is it bad to say that Marty Banks wouldn't look out of place if he ended up putting on a green costume around Christmas time? Is that allowed? Probably not. Fatuli Paya now continuing to make his way forward now. 35 metres out. It looks like the ball is not coming out too easy here for the Highlanders. If they can't get to it, this will actually be a turnover in the breakdown, and it is going to be the penalty to the Hurricanes. Counter ruck, you can't drop down on the ball is the description said to Sam Gilbert. He looks to the sideline as if to say, what did I do there? Don't think he quite knew the law. And also, I'll find work after Super Rugby Pacific as well. Here's Max Cottle. And yeah, there are certainly plenty of competitions coming up in the near future. That's a good kick from Geordie Barrett. That is now going to be 30 metres out. And when he does look like an elf. That's fair. Says imagine you caught where I was going with that one. And also, when was the last time you went to a Super Rugby game? I don't think I've ever been to a Super Rugby game. I went to a Bunnings EBC/Mitre 10 Cup game, Canterbury versus Otago, way back in the day, I believe it was. Or it might have actually been Crusaders Highlanders, but this was when I was like 6. So it's a very long time ago. And I would like to go back to another one relatively soon, perhaps, but it is at the moment Imam Al-Haq into the cricket for Pakistan, who's brought up the 150 to Pakistan, sitting 293 for 1 versus Australia on day 2 for anyone who is curious about the cricket. That's going to be a good contest in the year. I believe Sam Gilbert went up for it, and he was able to get it back on the side of the Highlanders. Kicks it in behind for Lau Pakatava, close to a 50-22, but just outside. So it is going to be the Hurricanes lineup. This game's been very much so a stalemate between these two sides. Turnovers conceded, 7 apiece, 6 penalties conceded each, and then handling errors just a little bit more in favour of the Hurricanes, only having the 3 compared to the Highlanders 5. And also, what was your first video? First video on Rugby Challenge or in general? So I think first Rugby Challenge video we did was probably, I think it was actually just a play-along one, or like the All Blacks haka, in fact it was, where we didn't have commentary. It was just the All Blacks doing the haka on Rugby Challenge 4. Our first video in general was actually before the snowboarding videos, but they're private, and they're private for a reason. And also come with me one day, as Aussies Max could do, maybe see how it's going and see. So you go to a Crusaders game, wouldn't you, Max, I assume? also general. So yeah, it was an old video, which was probably gaming, in fact. Gaming, and it would have been maybe on Rugby League Live 4 way back, or Rugby League Live 3, in fact, back in the day. Me, George, Daniel, and Isaac. The video is private. There is a reason for that. Maybe one day we'll bring it out and have a reaction to old videos, but a lot of swearing, a lot of interesting comments. Fun times. Now, Richard Judd going to be feeding this ball into the scrum. 34 minutes at this stage through this first half, and neither side willing to really take the backward step. Who would have predicted that only Pori Rikiti Stones would have scored a try at this point of the match? Now, Richard Judd going back across low pass to Billy Proctor. Highlanders all the way, says Josateki there, and they are currently trying to work their way back into the game. They've been close a couple of times. Ruben Love kicks that one downfield, and they have got the man back there, nicely taken by Connor Garden-Bishop, who is now going to be going for the counter run straight at Reed Princep, who does drag him down currently 40 metres out. I don't know whether that was joining the right correctly from Liam Coltman, or in fact it was Ethan de Groot, but they did allow it. Well, that one trying to get back up. Caleb Delaney just not quite able to do so. Fakatawa back across to Renton, rush defence on Jackson Garden-Bishop. In fact, it was his brother Connor. Jackson Garden-Bishop, he's on the bench, and he will be coming off it later on for the Hurricanes. Now Mitch Hump, wide cut out pass out to Sam Gilbert. Seula Mali able to drag him down. Sounds like political correctness was utterly absent that day. It was indeed. And Cobus Van Vogt is playing very nice and good rugby at the Hurricanes, much better than the time he spent at the South Sea Sharks. Although I think he's headed overseas somewhere else. And is he at the Northampton Saints? I think he's at a team in the Gallagher Premiership now, because they did end up getting Salisi Dayasi out on one wing, and also bringing back Julian Savia meant they didn't really have a spot. And also they seem to, seem to lose, or seen them lose. And there says Max, and also sounds like political correctness in that one. But yeah, there was some interesting one. That once again not found touch. So the wind must be strong in Wellington, which sounds like it's just a general assumption because of Wellington weather. That one also hasn't found touch. So I think it might be a bit blustery. Mitch Hunt now going across to Connor Garden-Bishop. Did travel backwards to Sam Gilbert, now one-on-one with Julian Savi. And that is a daunting task when you see you got to try and get your way around a bus. It takes a while. There's a shot. Fakatawa, short ball to Liam Coltman. Very flat pass to him there, but now once again going short, and they're sending Sam Gilbert up for the crash ball, and currently just trying to rebuild that structure that the Highlanders are known for. They don't normally miss too many tackles either. Currently, they are going to be doing a little bit more attacking. Julian Savia rushed up, and that causes the gap, but it was just a little bit forward, which does mean they do go back. But Julian Savia did decide to rush up, which then created the opportunity on the outside for Sam Gilbert to have a bit of space down the wing. Just got it completely wrong there, Savia. And if he hadn't, it's going to be the kicker behind. But for Tulipai, he's an angry man at the moment in the midfield. Also, if you're having chips, I don't have chicken salt as well in there, says Geelong. I didn't actually know that, so that is a good bit of information to know as well. But currently, I mean, that's the thing. When I have chips, I just have normal salt. Normally is my option or my choice of saltage. Yeah. You guys ever had like that Himalayan, what's it called? Himalayan pink salt. I think someone mentioned it to me a while ago, and for some reason I remember the name. I've never tasted it, but apparently it's quite nice. Himalayan pink salt. The more you know. Currently now, that looks like Caleb Delaney currently down, getting some strapping around the ankle. Hopefully he is all right to continue. That it was when he made contact with Ethan de Groot. I think he went down. Oh, yeah. No. That was, yeah. That could have easily gone a lot worse for Delaney. But his ankle ended up getting twisted in an awkward game. And also, please, game commentary, please. As I says, Kadas, although at this stage, we are just waiting for the scrum reset. That is why we are talking all about the other stuff as well. But now we're just waiting for that scrum reset. And also the injury of Delaney, which did take up about 3 minutes' time. But now we're back in. And the front rows are going down here. But it is a front row of de Groot, Coltman, and also at number 3, it is going to be Jermaine Ainsley, who has been going very nicely in the last little while. Scrum feed for the Hurricanes. They are sitting 30 metres out, or 32 metres out will go from their line. And Balin Sullivan currently about to feed this ball in. He's not, but he's going to get this ball more than likely in the back line, I would think. If they do retain this one now, going to the short side. Julian Savia puts the ball down again. Did it go backwards? They've said it went backwards. So they're going to continue just for now. But Julian Savia now once again having to carry. He's had a little bit of a shocking game so far, but his brother Artie Savia now driving the legs. Currently, I mean, I don't even know how many weights you'd have to buy for that family gym to be able to handle both of those guys driving their legs, lifting the iron all over the place. But now Richard Judd looks like he's going to be firing it back into the pocket to Geordie Barrett. Let's get some extra height on that one. And Bulls have 6 Springboks in the team. That is playing the Griquas and Kimberley as well, says Andre. And hopefully, we will be live for that game. And my pronunciations of those guys won't be terrible for that one. And now going back to Bakatawa. Dixon continues to drive himself forward. Almost as that Duplessis Karifi, he's turned it over. And now 40 metres out from the line. Richard Judd goes to Blackwell. Tyrell Lomax attacking the line very nicely. And currently, I mean, if it's another prop who scores the next try, it would be very impressive indeed for either side, which does only leave us 4 men at this current point in time. 1.5 minutes left of this first half, and they are currently sitting 30 metres straight out in front of the sticks. Richard Judd goes short side to Seula Mali. Or Mali, I think is how they pronounce that one. 5 phases in. Back to Pori Stones, the 1 try scorer into this game, and only point scorer of this match as well, if you don't consider the kicker, which I guess you should. So it's Geordie Barrett as well on there, but the Highlanders yet to get themselves off the mark. Tyrell Lomax, they do say I went backwards. Pori Stones running straight at Coltman. And this game has just had phase after phase after phase of evenly matched contests. In terms of both sides are just making all the tackles that they need to. That's kicked in behind, trying to find a bit of space. Where's that ball gone? Gone way too far. And that one is going to be going dead. Connor Garden Bishop, he does end up sitting on the top of Geordie Barrett. And now they are going to be going back to where he kicked it from. So just getting that one wrong, Judd. He wasn't actually originally in the starting lineup. It was going to be Jamie Booth, but instead, he wasn't actually the only change in that starting lineup. And it was also Seula Mali to get moved into that front row rather than a Safa Mui. Would have loved to be out there for this game because he does love running rampage. No matter where they're playing around the world, he is definitely a dangerous man. Evenly matched contest makes it so exciting as well, says mate Shoy. And you know, as a player in these situations, like your mistake could be the difference between these two sides. Like we saw that game at Forsyth Bar. I mentioned it a little bit ago on the last live stream. That game, they had about 1,000 meters run between the two sides. This game, you're probably only getting 1 or 2 meters run per phase. And then just about 14 phases or 10 phases. Then you kick it away or you drop the ball. And it does end up with the other team getting the opportunity. That was a very long wait for the scrum. Also, outcome is anybody's guess up till the final whistle, says MH Joy. Exactly right. Currently, this will be the first. Is that the first scrum reset? No, we've seen another one so far, but this will be the last play of the half at this point in time. And like they're saying, the forwards, they love for this ball to go into touch. It's been physical. It's been very, very fast-paced for both of these sides. Like, even though we've seen a lot of forwards running the ball, it's still not a slow pace of rugby to play at. So Bilal Fakatava feeding in this ball, and Yon gets some rest damage as well. And there sees MH Troy. It's all good. I did have a decent night's sleep last night. It is just, I guess, from talking and also from that light. And now Fakatava going to be passing it back across to Mitch Hunt. It seems like this half's going to go for a little bit longer for Tulipai. A wide cutout pass to Liam Coombs Fabling now. Stepping on the inside. And now currently just inside of their own half here, the Highlanders going back across to Mitch Hunt, wrapping around the outside. Thomas Umunga Jensen running straight at Pori Stones, bumps him off. That one very well run by Thomas Umunga Jensen. Now Fakatava goes back across to Dixon there. Linking up with Gareth Evans, and also see you guys after halftime. We'll see a little bit later on Andre. Now Mitch Hunt trying to run straight at Artie Savia. That's not a good choice because Artie Savia straight on the ball. Doesn't get the turnover though. Fakatava now kicking him behind. Looks like he's looking for touch. And if this one does not find touch, Geordie Barrett will certainly make sure that it does. And that is now going to be halftime. 7-0 to the Hurricanes. Low scoring game so far between them, but it has certainly been exciting. Seems like it could go either way in that second half, but we will get some stats. Do this one. I'm going to stretch out a little bit. Then we're going to be all good. And also when two teams play great teams contest, we get fast and furious pace. And there says MH Shoy. But currently neither side really want to take that backward step, which is always good to see because neither side backing down. Currently the Hurricanes, if they do want a bonus point, they could actually get 2 more tries in the opposition from here. And then that would give them it. But that's a very blank scoreboard. We've just pretty much got, like on the timeline, it's just 1 ball, 1 conversion. That's it. as well. So hopefully we do get to see some tries in the second half. Currently, the meters carried, it's 113 for the Hurricanes, 106 for the Highlanders. Probably the two lowest numbers these two sides have seen so far in Super Rugby. And then also defenders beaten 12 for the Highlanders, 4 for the Hurricanes, with 3 clean breaks for the Hurricanes and 2 for the Highlanders. Only a few offloads, 5 combined in this matchup. And still yielding. And also we have got there, what an absolute is there. Says Clem the Fox. Yeah, it's weird that we only saw the one try. Or even the one try and conversion. Normally we see some points on the board, but saying that, we've had 3 missed ones. So if the Hurricanes have got all their points, they'll be sitting on 10. If the Highlanders have got all their points, they'll be sitting on 6, which would look a little bit more impressive than these 7-0. But currently 12 tackles missed by the Hurricanes and only 4 tackles missed by the Highlanders. Their tackle completion rate is absolutely outstanding and one of the highest, not just in Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, not just in Super Rugby Aotearoa, but also in Super Rugby Pacific now. Look, I'm very impressive indeed. The penalties conceded 6 apiece almost, although the one late one up against the Hurricanes does make it 7-6. And the possession, what are we sitting at? 60% in favour of the Highlanders. They are yet to get themselves some points. Canes need more points to win. And there says Jason, they sure do. Geordie Barrett currently, I'd say he's been one of the standouts in terms of the cover at the back, because it seems like the Highlanders do want to try and get their ball in behind. We've seen it from Fakatava. He has been back there covering it. 1 defender beaten for him so far. Also, someone who we haven't really seen too much of, Salisi Ayasi, being extremely quiet. Artie Savia, 35 metres carried, 24 carried for Caleb Delaney. And then also there, we have got Poirakiti Stones, 21 metres carried, 2 carries, 1 defender beaten, 1 clean break. He's actually leading in terms of those stats for defenders beaten and clean break. The only player to have 1-on-1 for this matchup for the Hurricanes anyway. If you go over to the Highlanders, though, they've got quite a few more for themselves currently. We are sitting there meters, or sorry, not meters. Yeah, no, we will do meters. Thomas Umaga Jensen been looking dangerous. 4 carries and 3 defenders beaten from 24 meters carried. I'm just looking through. Every man outside of 9-10 in the back line has defeated at least 1 defender. 3 for Connor Garden Bishop, 3 for Thomas Umaga Jensen, and 2 for Fatuli Paya. Very impressive for themselves. And also the tackles we will have a quick look at. And Rayasi will score the last try like last time. And also Rayasi had a hat-trick last week, didn't he, Sebastian? He did indeed. And if he does score a try in this game, that will actually be the first time ever in his Super Rugby career he's been able to get a try back-to-back games. Not just a try, he got 3 of them in that first match. And I mean that like last time, they get the Landers as well, says Jason. And also Caleb Delaney, 15 tackles made by the Hurricanes. The only man in double figures, so he's 6 ahead of Princep and James Blackwell. So being very impressive for him, Caleb Delaney, a tackler machine out there at the moment. For the Hurricanes, it's Hugh Renton, Shannon Frizzell. It's the 2 men who have made the most tackles with only the 8. But currently the second half, it's a very intriguing one because it could easily go either direction. But currently I will show you guys what is going to be happening next week in the world of Super Rugby. And of course, we will be covering all of these games on the channel as well. The Sunday game, I should say, is the Waratahs versus Western Force. That will be at 4 p.m. New Zealand time. And that is on the 13th of March. Then Friday night, we've got the game between the Blues and the Highlanders and the Rebels and the Brumbies. Hurricanes versus Moana Pacifica will be the early game, and that will be a home game at Sky Stadium once again for the Hurricanes. Crusaders taking on the Chiefs. That'll be at Orange Theory Stadium, I believe, which will be a very tough challenge for the Chiefs, but it's a rematch of the Super Rugby Aotearoa final that we did see recently. Then also the Reds, they will be taking on the Drua, what should be an exciting contest. But this is how the table is sitting, other than the fact that the Blues, from there, they move themselves up to 7th as we sit currently, and the Chiefs, they got themselves 1 bonus point for being within 7, which keeps them up there in 6th at this current moment. But the Highlanders, they are yet to give themselves a point this year on the table. The Hurricanes, they will be moving quite nicely up. If they do end up winning this game, it would actually move them up to 4th, with the Waratahs still having their game in hand alongside the Brumbies. And that is going to be the last game of the night, which will be starting at 9:45 p.m. It is not in a day and 5 hours. It is actually only going to be in an hour and 45 minutes for that one. So that is going to be a very exciting game, and we will be covering that on the channel as well. Quickly, before we look at the chat one more time, we will go through and we will click on that. That is the bench that both of these sides have gone with, making TCU later in the second half As I think we'll see a little bit later on. But Seula Mali is not there at number 16. Instead, I believe it is it Tupu Tupu, I believe, or something along those lines. It's going to be there at 16. That is because of Asafa Mua not being in the starting line. Xavier Numia at 17. Tafita Mafaleo at 18. Devon Flanders, Braden Iosi, both men who are going to be able to cause an impact. Richard Judd started this match, so because of that, Logan Henry does get to come off the bench. And then Jackson Garden Basham at 22. Peter Umaga Jensen will get to go out onto the field, possibly marking up with his brother and Thomas Umaga Jensen, who's been going very well for the Highlanders in that first half. Reece Marshall at 16 has had the most, what's the stat? He's had the most carries or the most running meters or something along those lines for a player who's come off the bench in Super Rugby. And Daniel Leonard-Brown, and then also Ma'u at number 18. Selby Ricker and Marino Mikaeli too will be the two other replacements. And yes, Tupu Tupu, and there's Clemley Fox. So I haven't actually heard of him before, so hopefully he's going to be able to have a decent impact. Aaron Smith at 21, when we're talking of impact, that man is certainly going to be able to have just that. And then Marty Banks, or as we called him earlier on, a little bit of an elf. And then also Scott Gregory at number 23, who has got a little bit of, that's the thing, who do you take off though? Scott Gregory, you'd almost be willing to put out on the wing, maybe for Coombs Fabling or Sam Gilbert. I would actually leave Fatuli Pai and Thomas Umaga Jensen out there if they are still 100% going to be able to continue at the base they've been playing, because I feel like Thomas Umaga Jensen is luring in the defence. Fatuli Pai, you also need to lure in your defence too. So then it free up the man on the outside, which is something that the Highlanders hopefully have noticed and they will try and do in the second half. If I had to say something that the Hurricanes need to improve on just a little bit, it might be maybe, I mean, they've given away 7 penalties, but they've also won a few on the breakdown. So I think it's a little bit of a 50-50 one there. Big old yawn for myself. But yeah, the next game will be starting at 9:45. We will be starting our live stream at 9:30 though. So that is in an hour and 30 minutes time. And also the Canes probably will change both 6 and 7. Looked like line break supported by backs running the line. Says Clem the Fox there. And also who's going to win, says Max Cottle. I would say if I was a betting man, I would go Hurricanes, just because they've got that 7-point buffer and also got some very good players to come off the bench in the 4-pack. But then saying that, the Highlanders, you've got Aaron Smith, Mikaeli too, Selby Rickett, also off the bench, and then Reece Marshall, who can run a lot. So I would say, now, if I was a betting man, I'm just going to check the odds and see where everyone is sitting currently in terms of what way this one is going to be going. How do I find odds? There we go. We are getting them loaded up now, because I think it's going to be a close one, though. I said at the start of my prediction, 1-5 will be the difference between these two sides. So the Highlanders currently are paying $5.50 compared to the Hurricanes, who are paying $1.11. So I was a betting man, I would go you probably go the Hurricanes, but there's just a little bit of a chance that the Highlanders might be able to get themselves a win. So it's always hard to tell. And I reckon Landers as well. And Hamish, what do you think about the South Sea Sharks signing him an absolute beast to have in that 4-pack? Like, he's going to bring that physicality no matter where he goes. And now that he's going back into South Africa, and otherwise it's so low scoring, so here's Aiden there, just because neither side have really let each other through. We've only had about 100 meters carry for both of these individual sides. A lot of phases put together, but then a few handling errors. They have stopped it from continuing going forward, but only 7-0 at this point in time, something that I don't think we were expecting at all here. But currently, I mean, talking to the betting odds, that would have been paying a lot of money for either Pori Rakiri Stones to score the first try and also to only have 7 points in the first half. But we've had some weird stuff going on in terms of the fact that the last 2 games, every kicker, one for each team, their first kick has hit the left hand upright for the post. I don't know what's going on. Don't know whether we'll see it later on. Also, both teams hit left post. Says Max, they did. And then on the last game, both sides hit the left post for their first kick as well. If you don't remember rightly, with Josh Ioane, and also it was who ended up kicking for them. It would have been actually Harry Plummer. So weird indeed. And also lots of handling errors, says Clem the Fox. There have been quite a few, which has had a little bit more stoppage time than they would have been anticipating. But hopefully the handling errors do end up cutting down in the second half. And we do get to see a little bit more of that free-flowing rugby that these two sides definitely know how to play. And it is going to be a very exciting one. Brumbies or the Waratahs, says Aiden. For me, Brumbies are the favourites, but the Waratahs are doing, like I mentioned earlier on, If I had to pick one, the Waratahs, I'm more likely to pick them this year than I would have been last year. Not saying I would pick them, but I'm more likely to this year. Like the Brumbies going into that game are paying $1.35 compared to the Waratahs $3. Since when have the Waratahs only been a $3 underdog other than this year? Like they have been going insanely well for themselves because before this year, they hadn't actually won a game of Super Rugby for a little while. And I'm in the US. How can I watch the game? Says Connor, have you got, I think it's Flow Rugby. Flow Rugby is your best bet in the US. And then also, if it isn't on there, one moment, I'll see what else I can find. But yeah, I think it's Flow Rugby or SansarRugby.tv, I think is your other option in the United States. I think they are your only two options, though, unfortunately. And also the highlights are going to be there for the matchup a little bit later on the All Blacks or the Super Rugby YouTube channel and Tars probably. And let's go the Canes. And then I think you might be accusing it, Amish. And there says Max, and also too much butter popcorn before the game. Greasing hands on them, lads. Says Sebastian. Who was it last night who looked like they were just dropping the ball all over the place? Was it the Western Force game? Or was it the second game yesterday? I can't remember what game it would have been. But one of them, everyone was just dropping the ball. In fact, it might have been the Kiwi game between the... Why can I not remember any names now? I can't remember any of the teams. Two sides that played yesterday. Oh, Moana Pacifica Crusaders at the very start. Crusaders were dropping it all over the place. I'm just getting the chips now with gravy. Says Geelong, and also have you subscribed. Says Sam Henry. I haven't actually had the chance as of yet, unfortunately. Been quite busy doing all the lineups and everything for these matches, which has been definitely keeping me busy because we've got plenty more coming in the near future. We have got ourselves the Curry Cup game later on tonight. Hopefully my voice will be around. If not, and I do have to try and make the decision of Curry Cup or Premiership. I'd like to do both still. So hopefully it does work out for me. But if not, it might just have to be the Premiership at 4 a.m. Give us a little bit more time to be able to regain the vocal cords. But also we have there up the mighty Hurricanes. And there says Isaac. Currently missed tackles, 15 missed tackles for the Hurricanes of the 67 that they were able to make. And then also only 5 missed tackles for the Highlanders. So that is a big difference there. Kicking meters, we've had almost 1,000 meters between the two sides, sitting around that 750 mark. And just the one try, and that was for Pori Rickety Stones. But I see Aaron Smith, they have made the sub now, and he is making his way out onto the field. So maybe just not feeling that stability that they were expecting to have with Falau Fakatava. I'm impressed by the halftime score, just 7-0. I expected a hefty lead by the Hurricanes, but hope the Hurricanes, the Highlanders, we have got there, can keep this up. And bro, commentary, please. And there says Brett, they were at halftime. I assume that is, but currently, if you do want the actual commentary, I guess it is. Yeah, it is going to be on the SansarRugby.tv, I believe it is where you can find it. But currently now the two sides making their way back out onto the field after the halftime break. And it was the Rebels and the Fiji and draw as well, says Isaac there. And how many people are at the game? I think they've got maybe, I want to say a couple hundred, but I might have the wrong numbers there. So I'll say at least 100 though. It seems like they've all gone in through maybe different entrances. In fact, it's probably actually only 100 by the looks of it. But now Xavier Numier has also made his way out onto the field, and also shush your mouth. As I says, Brett, that's not quite what commentary is, unfortunately. So you kind of double ending it. You know, do you want commentary or do you not want commentary? It's kind of, you got to choose. You can't have both. But now Mitch Hunt is going to be kicking off the second half on the left-hand side of the field now. Kicking it off, and the Hurricanes, they are going to be taking this one. James Blackwell knocks it on, though. And now straight away, the Aaron Smith out on the field for Tuli Pye getting a go forward. And also, and Lev, have you got to be rude? Yeah, and now currently passing it back once again. And also, shut up. This is jeez. Everyone's brutal, aren't they? But currently now, Liam Coltman going back, currently sitting on the 20-meter line, and Pakistan have reached the 300 mark. Still just one wicket, not wicket out for the Aussies at all. Says Sebastian. Currently 22 meters out, and they have got a little bit of a forward pass to scrum feed now for the Hurricanes. That's going to be unfortunate for them. They were just starting to build up quite nicely, and then to have that handling error at the end of the move is not what they would have been after. Yeah, flat pass from Mitch Hunt, Josh Dixon, just a little bit drifting forward. I can't wait to go to the Phoenix game when they come back to Wellington. And now, welcome in, Jay, says Sebastian. I like how the first one that we have seen from Jay in about, or a little while, And it is straight away in with the just brutal boom straight in there. And yes, but Totoya said, hi, welcome in. And when things work out for the Aussies, or when does things ever work out for Aussies in any sport? I mean, World Cup, T20, they were able to recently win it over the Kiwis, in fact, it was. So that was slightly unfortunate for us Kiwis, but very good for the Australians to now get to host the next one. Should be exciting. But Salesi Darcy been pretty quiet so far. We haven't seen too much of him as of late, but hopefully we do get to see a good opportunity for him in the second half. And Jesseb, and there says Jay, that's gone down on the front row. Okay, so Paul Williams actually taking responsibility for that one, saying that it was his fault that they weren't quite stable when he did end up saying that they were about to go in for it. And also never thought it would be 7-0 at 41 minutes. I don't think anyone did for this game, and hopefully not at the Rugby World Cup. Achilles and also England has to win that one somehow, hopefully. And also Kiwis was paid to let them win. And don't know about that. I mean, if they had said, like, you've got to lose the super over, I feel like that would have been brutal for us because we've lost so many super overs as of late, of course. Now, 22 metres out from their own line here, the Hurricanes firing it back to Judd. First receiver, Geordie Barrett. And he does kick it downfield. Taken nicely now by Connor Garden-Bishop. I guess that's the thing. How much money would you accept? Probably should have think about it, shouldn't I? And also, Chiefs Manawa won, as though they did indeed. And it was a very, very close game at times throughout that one. I believe it was 28-20 in the end. And Sebastian, England, really no one. Oh, no, come on, man. Not England of all teams, as says your demise. Currently now it's going to be 38 metres out from their own line here, the Highlanders. And they have got the lineup. So this is going to be a very crucial part of this matchup for both of these sides because neither side do want to be the next team to concede a try. And Potty Rackety Stones, he has made his way off the field a little bit earlier on. So he's actually the only try scorer in that first half. And now trying to get that rolling ball going forward here for the Highlanders, something that they used to be able to use pretty much every single time they were inside of the 22. For Super Rugby, they're a little bit too far back now, only just outside of their own 22, going to the short side. Liam Coombs faithfully gets the inside ball, kicks it in behind, and it does end up racing down the field. And also, they paid the Kiwis $10 million to lose that match. That's a good amount of money. And also, Tomo Umaga Jensen for All Black Centre. He's looking very strong at the moment. If he keeps on playing the way that he is, he's certainly got a good amount of potential. Artie Savia trying to break down the wing. This is giving flashbacks to what happened last week when he was able to score that match-winning try against the Blues. Now Julian Savia around the side. He was actually at centre last week. Back out on the right wing. Blackwell tackled hard on the tackle by Hugh Renton. Now continuing to drive their way forward. A little bit of a juggle. It went backwards. How about that one? That one's gone forward. That one's gone forward that time. Yes, it is. And also might even be England during the World Cup. And there I already have my plane tickets, or might even be in England, sorry. And for Easter, going there to see what my brother is up to. And Hamish, did you watch any of the URC games this past weekend? I did miss a couple of them, but I have got them all saved, like kind of on my Spark Sports, so that I can go back and watch them very soon. Like it will probably be a midweek venture for myself of just watching a whole heap of them. But Daniel Leonard-Brown making his way out onto the field, and then also Moreno Makieli too. He is going to be replacing Hugh Renton, who's had a 50-50 game, but he wasn't originally going to be in the starting lineup. So I think he's done all right for what kind of short preparation he would have had for this matchup. Artie Savia getting a huge amount of strapping on his knee, pretty much being held together there, that ligament and that joint, by just tape, whole heap of tape. And also that's not Sebastian. So your brother is from England. There's your demise. But Artie Savia, I believe it was when he got back to his feet, was it? Or was it? I don't know what it was that kind of tweaked. I think it might have just been kind of continuous pushing off it for his leg. And also that's why I support England in all sports, and he's established in England with work and his family. Yes, says Sebastian there as well. But now Scrumpy going down 44 minutes into this one. Savia so far 7 carries and then also 9 tackles for himself. Although a standout for the Hurricanes, I've got to say, is Caleb Delaney, making about 16 tackles already in this match. We're only 44 minutes in. He's certainly earning a rest on the sideline. If Highlanders win this game, that's going to give them the confidence they have been looking for, because their previous games was not good for their confidence. There's Yodomai, exactly right. And it's a very tricky one. They started with 2 extremely tough games in the Chiefs and the Crusaders. This game is a hard game, and the Hurricanes, and I would say their best bet of beating a New Zealand side is probably the Hurricanes, I guess, but it's a tricky one, isn't it? Maybe even the Chiefs be their best matchup in terms of the way that they play. But now Connor Gardenbasher finding the offload back to Fatuli Pyre up the middle. Looking for the offload. Goes through the hands of Marino McKelly too. And now it will be Salisi Rayasi driving himself forward. And you give giving massive respect to your brother, hey, Sebastian. And there says Kelly's, but now looking for the offload. Xavier Numi up to the halfway line. Receiving that ball from Lomax. Judd slings it back now to Ruben Love. Billy Proctor, Savia. Going to be trying to link up on the outside. Duplessis Karefi straightening, running straight. Sam Gilbert and True Amish. And they're from your demise. But currently, Caleb Delaney, he's been everywhere. That's only my older brother always grew up looking up to him, So there's Sebastian there. So I feel like that's a very awesome way of looking at it as I know it, because the Highlanders are trash in there. There's Henry Samuel. I mean, as a Hurricane supporter, though, Henry, it's important not to get too confident just at this very moment. Like, yes, the Hurricanes may win, but if they don't, if they are trash, then what are the Hurricanes? You gotta juggle it a little bit. So you gotta be careful with the trash talk early on. We're only 46 minutes in, and the Hurricanes, they have got themselves that 7-0 lead. Geordie Barrett from 55 out has said, you know what, I'll take on the 3 points. Might as well test out the distance. This will be his first big kick at Sky Stadium. He didn't really get to attempt too many inside a Forsyth Bar average, as on there says Sam Henry. I guess average. So it's a nice way of putting it, I guess you could say. But now, line it up. This is straight out in front, so we'll test out the accuracy of Geordie Barrett and Sam. I think the status 33-12 last year. So yeah, be good. So it says Max there. But currently now, and also made it through to the Trans-Tasman final, I think I should mention, for the Highlanders as well. But now they are going to be going back for this massive boot of Geordie Barrett, trying to line up. The probability of this kick going over is 39%, 0% angle. It is literally as dead straight as you can get. I respect you for that, mate. But no, I don't really know. I have an older brother. He hates me for 16 or 17 years now. He doesn't talk to me or anything. And do not underestimate the Highlanders, says he, mate. Sure, exactly right. And also know 2015-16. And that one says Sam Henry. But now, lining it up, Geordie Barrett, he's got a massive boot, like I mentioned. Kicks it hard. And he has missed it to the left-hand side. And also, we have got there. There we go. That's good commentary. You're not Keith Quinn, but as long as you don't get sidetracked as well, says Brett. Although I think the thing that makes these different to other commentary is because I do get sidetracked, because I could just do the commentary, but then it wouldn't be the same. I don't think underestimating the Highlanders is the worst mistake a person can make. Exactly right. They are a dangerous side. Look what happened when they had those players suspended a little while ago. And you see, make sure that's the one, and underestimating the Highlanders is worst. Oh, no, I read that one just then. Now, Geordie Barrett running it back towards the halfway line. Now going around the side. Now Richard Judd going back across to Artie Savia, now up to the halfway line. And it looks like Richard Judd, I assume he's probably not too far away from getting stuff for Logan Henry. And now Balin Sullivan with a good run forward, linking up on the outside, down to Artie Savia. Going to be stepping around Fatuli Pyre, but not quite able to break through. Side of the 22 now, Richard Judd gives it off to Xavier Numia. Loves running it hard. The Highlanders, though, that was their ball. They haven't quite been able to turn it over. Ruben Love goes back across. Now to James Blackwell. They're going to be available for them once again. The ball was out for Tyrell Lomax. Does he get it? No. Still going to be just on the side of Geordie Barrett. Now getting wrestled down by Ainsley. 10 metres out. Good face play. 7 in a row here for the Hurricanes. Now Salisi Rayasi, he will back himself. He never will pass when he's 10 metres out from the line, unless he certainly has to. Now Xavier Numia once again going back. 5 metres slowly creeping forward the Canes as they continue to find themselves extra meterage. They've got the advantage as well. Caleb Delaney round the side. I believe he's got to be close there. No, just short. Xavier Numia falls over the top. And he is going to be short of line also. 12 phases in. Where do they go? I think they're going to go out the back line here. Short ball. And Billy Proctor goes over. And that is going to be the try for the Hurricanes. I believe it was Billy Proctor. Yes, it was number 12. Does end up putting the ball down over the line. And that is going to be the second try of the match now for the Hurricanes. We will go like that. And we go like that as well. Billy Proctor scoring the try in the 49th or so minute. And it was just phase after phase, straight out in front of the post, waiting for that perfect opportunity to be able to break their way through. And they have done just that. Hurricanes now getting themselves their second one, and also try. And there's Sebastian. Billy Proctor using that momentum. And also do not underestimate the Landers all right as well, says Brett, for that one. And they are certainly a tough side. Yes, that's a try against them, but if you're doing like little moments in a game, like you're going to be able to do that all the time. The Hurricanes dropped the ball earlier on in the game, so you can't really go, oh, Hurricanes are terrible with their handling all the time. And also, let's go, Tama has said there, but the Hurricanes are going very well in this matchup now, and Jordie Barrett will be able to line it up. Currently, we are sitting 12-0 at this point in time. One moment, we will go like that. There we go. Has updated itself, and now Jordie Barrett, that has just gone over. He absolutely smacked that one. Someone's going to have to go find that. A well-deserved try after all the phases and effort. Cheers, says MH Joy. And Balin Sullivan once again breaking through, giving it off to Artie Savia down the wing. And he was doing his best impersonation of a quick step and winger. Well, that one by Artie Savia, he does that impression very well. Billy Proctor, now that he's scored that try, the question is, who will they end up putting Peter Umaga Jensen on the field for? Let's go, says Clement. Should Super Rugby sell bananas against to throw at the refs? Says Greg Gregson. I mean, it would be unfortunate for the referees. They'd have to be on board with it, I would think, more than likely. But we would have to wait and see, of course. I don't think they'll ever pass that at a Sanzar meeting. More likely, and also watch those cases. And also, hey, mate, how are you going? Says Tamara, doing very well, mate. And I hope you are the same. But currently now, Jordie Barrett kicks that one way down the middle of the park. Taken nicely by Connor Garden-Bishop, going for the counter-attack now. And now trying to step his way through. Currently, very good run forward. Xavier Numia, he isn't on the ball, and it's a penalty now to the Highlanders. 17, Princep not rolling away. Artie with the godlike dummy as us, says Clem the Fox. And he's also got some quick step and feet. I prefer beer bottles, Greg. And there, beer bottles, geez, that's even harder than a banana, isn't it? Or should be. If your banana's as hard as a beer bottle. I'm not going to finish that sentence because it sounds dodgy. That one's gone into touch from Marty Banks. Yes, it has. And now only about 10 metres out, the Highlanders are going to have an opportunity for that rolling maul. Currently, we have got there doing good. I'm not sure if you commentated it. I watched it, but thoughts on the Reds game last night. Says Tomatoes, the Reds up against the Western Force. I think the Western Force surprised me a little bit in terms of they didn't quite dig as deep as we kind of thought that they would be able to. If that makes sense. Rolling maul here for the Highlanders. This is looking very nice. And I mentioned about that rolling maul try that they do love going to time after time. Last year, they had Ash Dixon at the back. This time now, Liam Coltman. This one's going forward for the Highlanders. So they continue to march and march and march. Only 2 metres short. It's still nicely set. Going over the line. And is it going to be the try? Aaron Smith saying it's down. They're going to be going back out the back, though, now. Oh, one more cross kick here from Marty Banks. Points, no. Coombs Fabling puts it down out on the wing. And that now is taken quickly. And Balin Sullivan continues to drive his way forward. He's just been very unlucky. Coombs Fabling stolen, though. And now Connor Garden-Bishop a couple metres out from the line. Flicks it back. It's knocked backwards. Ball bouncing up. That's a knock on from Daniel Leonard-Brown. This game is going to be at such a frantic pace for the last 20 by the looks of it. I just nearly came up with another chat-up line, and depends on what your banana or you're doing with the banana. And yes, Greg, monkeys may get the bananas first. And there says MH Joy. Now kicking this one downfield, Jordie Barrett. So a blown opportunity. Coombs Fabling has not taken too many catches so far. Connor Garden-Bishop going off. Marty Banks tackles himself for that one. I mean, as a veteran, I guess you know the tackling technique of your opposition, so you just do it anyway. And also, so some news to wake up to. And there's Gareth there. Some news to wake up. Are we talking about Shane Warne? I assume it is Gareth on that one. But yeah, very unexpected for his passing. Only 52 years of age and fast and furious pace continues. It does seem like it. Currently, Smith going back to Manakai. Selby Rickett also made his way out onto the field. That would be for Bryn Evans. I believe Gareth is still out on the field for now. Shannon Frizzell with a good attacking run. Anything is possible, says MH Choi. Now Smith a hard buy. It was Duplessis Karefi, never back on side as a game fan. My banana's pretty hard to see, says Ross Bird. I couldn't quite get that sentence out without my voice going, you shouldn't read that completely. But I read it in my head, which I think is one thing, I guess. The Hurricanes are doing very nicely after getting that win over the Blues. And now sitting 14-0 against the Highlanders. Although the Highlanders, like they're putting in a little bit of a late fight here. Well, this final little moment. But currently it was the cross kick from Marty Banks. Perfect. Straight to Coombs Fabling. Puts it down. I don't know what happened. He just didn't, I don't know if he didn't see it or he just wasn't really ready for it or something along those lines for Coombs Fabling, but he has not had the best day. Tolson Jensen actually at the front of the line out here. I do see. Are they going to try and play crash ball with him? No, they don't. They go to the back now, and once again, it is going to be that rolling maul that the Highlanders do know and love. Getting forced straight sideways here, actually edging their way closer and closer towards the post. And now it continues to get going forward. That's a good breakaway. Continuing to go forward. They've shut that one down. I think it was Caleb Delaney. No, it's Salisi Rayasi, who in fact did end up taking that one down. And also, come on, Landers, you can do it. And there's Holly Amster now. Aaron Smith passing it back across Gareth Evans. 5 meters out now. And it's going back for the initial penalty. Tackling the maul. Taking the quick tap there, Aaron Smith off to Marino McKelly. 2 drops the head. 1 meter short for the Highlanders. And they are creeping closer and closer to the line. Shannon Frizzell trying to spin out of the tackle. Straight on the ball there for the Hurricanes. And they are not allowed to contest for that. They've given away another penalty. And do you think Landers can come back, Hamish? That's dropped by Marty Banks, but it's going back for another penalty. I mean, the way that we've seen them fight back in late stages of a game, we'd say it's possibly possible. Possibly possible. I guess it's just possible. It's the best way of describing it. Currently now, Aaron Smith. Okay, time off. This looks like it's going to be the last warning for the Hurricanes here. If they have any more infringements along those lines, they will get themselves into quite a bit of trouble, I would think. But currently, I did mention earlier on that the odds had them at about $6 underdogs for the Highlanders. I'm just going to have a quick look here and see whether or not that has changed completely with the fact that there was another try scored by the Hurricanes relatively recently. But currently only 24 minutes left. Duplessis Karefi giving away 3 penalties, I think, so far today. So that is why Brayden Iosi gets to make his way out onto the field. The captain of Manawa too. He's a brilliant player, possibly possible. There's a possibility. And then give the Landers 2 years with their new combinations and their team will be formidable. Watch for Julie Pyer in the future. And yeah, it was that preseason game last year that they did have up against the Crusaders. It was his old side in the Crusaders that he was up against, and he injured himself and was out for the whole of last season. And he looked like he was going to be a key signing for the Highlanders last season. Scott Gregory also making his way out there. Who's that for? Thomas Jensen. I don't think he wants to go off the field, and it doesn't look like he's going to have to. It's going to be actually for Tuli Pyer on field in Malaysia. A banana refers to a fellow who speaks English. I see, Image Choi. I don't think I can read that out, but yeah. And also go Highlanders, and thanks you for your knowledge, Choi, says Oli. And also we have got the come on both teams. And then come on Canes as well a little bit earlier on. And also come on the Canes says Noah Smith. So everyone hoping that they will be able to get themselves possibly a bonus point win. I would think if they get one more try here, it will put them in a very good position. But currently the Highlanders, they will be trying to fight back in this game. Dane Cole's on the sidelines. He'll hate not being able to play as of yet. Gets to watch on as his Hurricane side tries to get themselves into a position of winning this game. They didn't have him. They didn't have a Safa more. 2 hookers already out for the Hurricanes. And then I believe Saula Mali has already gone off the field, and the replacement for him, oh no, they may not have actually brought out Tupu Tupu yet. Figuring that ball in now for Aaron Smith, and also AA from Eliels. Welcome into the Livestream Go Highlanders, says Leo L. That's going to be another advantage there for the Highlanders, continuing to march their way forward. Ball available at the back. Someone's boot went flying. Now Marty Banks, they cannot blow this. Lewis Coombs playing short. Julian Savia has stopped him. His name is Liam, by the way. But I see Lewis, it's dropped by Dixon. And it bounces up for Manakai. Selby Rickett, he scores the try. They will check it though, so maybe not. And also Elliot's back as well, and with the 10 out of 10, and also Tis, but a flaccid season for the Landers. Said Ollie Amsterdam, what day do you think Plants vs Zombies update? When we going to make a game mode, or make our game mode? And there says Brandon, I don't know when they are bringing out updates for it, Brandon. Unfortunately, I don't even know when Rugby 20's updates, or Rugby 22, in fact, their ones are coming out. Okay, initially I thought Liam Coltman did knock the ball on. I think that's what they're checking. But I also thought since they went play on, it must have been all right. So I guess still 50-50. That goes forward. I would say so. And I know that I am our step as well. And let's go Landers. Hit it as well, says Brett there. And Baxton, how you going? And Baxton or Braxton? Who's Braxton? It was Braxton and not too sure. And also, I think in 2 days, as I said, Brandon, but it looks like Liam Coleman. I would call that forward. Although they're trying to say maybe came off the shoulder and still kicking. Thank you. I hope you're well too, says Sebastian. Flat at best is the call from Jeff Wilson. And that says a Highlanders supporter in Jeff Wilson saying flat at best. Oh. Might have smacked the shoulder. So they've got to look for clear, conclusive evidence that this is not a try. What are we saying here? It's a big moment in the game. That is why they put time off as well. And also, you my homie, geez. And then says Noah Smith. Fair enough. Okay. No clear and obvious knock on. Okay. So that's just happened. So it's pretty much they said because there was no clear and obvious knock on, that is why it is going to be staying with the on-field decision to try. And Artie Savia, fair play to him, he just went, okay. In terms of rather than going, oh, ref, what are you on about? Why are you doing this? He just went, yeah, okay. We'll just continue playing. Currently, Selby Rickett. How do you spell Selby Rickett? I spelled it wrong. You need an E there as well. And we will go like that. And Selby Rickett scores the try in the 58th or so minute. I believe it was, or 60th we will go with, just because we like to round up the numbers. Selby Rickett scoring the try. And now the Highlanders getting themselves just a little bit further back into this match. That one has been converted. And now the Highlanders, you'd say that maybe there's a little bit of a late tail in the tape. Perhaps if they can fight their way back into this one. Have you guys seen Kohler? I have not. And also not bloody Gregory. His bloody hair shows, slows him down. Says Brett there. He's an interesting character, Scott Gregory, overall. Like, I'm always on the fence. Like, at times he does things that are really good. And then at other times he does things that are really not good. And I always struggle to work out, like, what kind of Scott Gregory we're going to get to see. And good stream, Kiwi lads. Appreciate you, mate. Is it fish? Fishes? Fish? Is that how you say it? Fish? Maybe how's everyone doing, as I says Gareth? Oh, very well, thank you, mate. Currently, the Highlanders, they are fighting back in this one, which does mean we have got a little bit of time left in this game. Liam Coons-Favlin puts that one down. And there could still be possibly a win on either side. And also, we have got there, when you read a gangster comment and your gangsterness malfunctions. And there says Sebastian, see, I feel like I'm not much of a gangster. And you guys know this. I'm very much so. Like, if you had to say, what's the opposite of a gangster? You show them a picture of me and they'll be like, yep, makes sense. Doing well, Gareth. And also, even though I'm nearly 10, not even as well, says now. And also, we have got there, it's going to change a game for everyone as well. Says Brandon, now off the short side, Aaron Smith with a good run goes out to Liam Coons-Favlin. And for him to score a try, he's tried to offload it. Aaron Smith is furious, hasn't been able to take that one. It's just the knock on, and Smith, he is disappointed. That looks like Richard Judd's got some sort of calf injury. They've already lost Jamie Booth for injury earlier on. They cannot afford to lose another halfback. Peronato currently out as well. They'll have to dig deep into their stocks. Currently, they've got Henry Judd, I believe it is. No, sorry, not Henry Judd, Logan Henry. So I am thinking of, might just be cramp. Is he all right? He is all right, maybe. Looks like he's going to be continuing for now, Richard Judd. So did the Reds win yesterday, Amish? They did indeed. They beat the Western Force by more points than I expected them to, as I thought that game would be relatively close. And hi, Hamish, bro. Good afternoon. Says Michelle, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. Currently, the Highlanders reserves, they're looking on, I guess you could say, intently waiting to see whether or not they can get their fight back in this game at Size Stadium. It's actually 6 games in a row that the Hurricanes have beaten the Highlanders. And close game, this one, says Neville Singh. It is indeed. And currently, it's going to be going down to the wire. Still 19 minutes left, plenty of time for something to be happening. Now, Richard Judd feeds that ball, and it's a big push. And now Richard Judd has been shut down straight away by Aaron Smith. Now Marty Banks. The ball's been dropped by Brian Iosi, picked up by Savia. And now continuing to find their offloads. Ruben Love kicks it downfield, trying to relieve a little bit of the pressure. And also we have got there Roberts back as well. Says Sebastian, he is indeed. So yeah, I hope you are doing fantastic, mate. And I hope you're excited for the Broncos in the NRL. It's coming up right around the corner. I brought up In This World to Kill. Oh, that's an interesting one. Noah Smith. And also we have got their close game this one. And also you need to download Plants vs. Zombies and try time, says Brett there. And currently the Hurricanes going to be trying to drive their way forward. And I would say the thing is, if they can go to the last 10 minutes at an even playing field here, or even just 3 points behind for the Highlanders, they will have a little bit of confidence going in late. Balin Sullivan with a good attacking run once again. And Amish Bro, 9,900 subscribers reached at this stage 10K just a few hours away. And then says, Michelle, I don't know about few hours, probably few weeks away or somewhere around there. And also we got the Up the Cane, says Betty Wagon. And also, yes, Seb, I was just watching a tribute on Fox Fox Cricket did, says Robert. And yeah, very, I guess you could say very sudden news, the passing of Shane Warne. Thomas Umunga Jensen straight through the middle looking for the link-up play, just couldn't quite find it. And I believe it was because about 3 of the Highlanders players were all running for the same bit of grass there. And will we ever see golden point? Not for this competition, because if it is a draw, it's 2 points. Now going through. And it will now be almost stolen by Savi. He does win the penalty. And also this channel seems to attract all the nut jobs as well. Cheers, JAs. Could be me, couldn't it? I'm probably doing it. Well, and soon to be 100K subs for Hamish, says Neil Singh. It's a lot of subscribers, that is for sure. Even getting to 10,000 is like a weird number. Because, like, that's 5 things, isn't it? That's 5 digits. As well, that's almost, no, it's not quite my phone number. My phone number's a few more. It's one of the digits of my phone number. There you go. Little sneak peek. And also, you're right, unfortunate news. Very unfortunate news is what it is, mate, as well. And it says Sebastian also, hello, JAs, how you been? Also, Hamish, life is too short. We witnessed yesterday when Shane Warne tweeted about Rod Marsh death, and this evening passed away at age 52. Indeed, it is. And Jake has said hi as well. Welcome into the live stream, mate. Scott Gregory now stepping forward. Tackled by, I believe that was actually Peter Umunga Jensen. Wow, that's power. He's just shoved back Gareth Evans as if he was nothing. I think he's been bulking up over the off-season as well. Evans goes back across. Garden Bishop takes it nicely. Manakai Selby Rickett decides against going on the outside to Liam Coons. Fabling, breaking through. Still Selby Rickett going forward. And now currently sitting 35 metres out. It's weird why they did the commentators say if it's a draw in the Blues game, it's golden point. Oh, is it? So I guess maybe if it's golden point and then after the golden point time, then you go to the draw, I think might be the case then if that is the one. But either way, it's 2 points for the draw if they do end up getting there. All right, it's going to be kicked to mine, but they're going right back for the penalty. And who do you support? And now I'm very, I guess you could say, kind of very uneven, or not uneven. I am a bit uneven. Unstable, that's a better word for it. No, I would say I'm more impartial. That's the word I was after. Couldn't find it. And I was like, bro, I was wrong about your commentary. You're a hoot. As I says, Brett, I do appreciate it. It's always hard to tell if you're being serious or not, just because of the start we had. I feel like we got a rough start, but now we seem to be, we're getting along all right. Handshake and whatnot. One of those. We're all good. And also, if you lived in a family who hated you, what would you do? If you lived in a family who hated you, what would you do? Says Noah Smith. Interesting question. How much of the family hate me? Have you been talking to my parents? Say what's going on here? Do they want me to leave? Are you trying to say thanks for the commentary, bro? They got to go to work. Good luck to the Highlanders from a Cantab in York, England. Says Andy Scott. So enjoy your day at work, mate. Hope a subs being made now. Logan Henry making his way out there. Currently, the Highlanders are getting right into the corner. Delaney off the field for Flanders. He's had a very good game. It's the one day I watched Shane humiliate Andrew Stouse of the around both legs, middle stump, leg spin, wicket. That's close. Held up. It's going to be the goal line dropout. And I order you. And there, as says Jay, and also, bro, 100K is a big milestone. I hope this number comes soon. And then now, yeah, I'm excited. How will SVG go in the opening race, Hamish? SVG. I should know exactly whose name that is. SVG. I feel like you're going to be face palming, but who is it? Robert, do let me know. I'm believing to think that Jay's a judge of character regarding no spot on. Although, no, he's been around for a very long time. He goes for the Crusaders as well. Now it will be going back to Shannon Frizzell. I see taking a 9, nearly 10 in 8 days. And there as well. Now going back across Marty Banks. Trying to pierce the gap nicely. That's going to be the big man at number 18 for this game, which is Saula Ma'u. We haven't seen too much of it. Shane Van Gisbergen. Yes. See, I feel like for some reason I thought of SVG as like, and then you mentioned the big race, and I thought, oh, is that what we call the NRL? But then I realized, no, it's not the case. And how do you take the of Shane Warne? How do you take of the Shane Warne pass? Kiwi Lads, I'm very shocked. Yeah, it's all of a sudden as well. Like everyone was saying about that post, how he had just posted about Rod Marsh passing away, and then from there, he has actually passed away. He was in Thailand, and I believe it was a heart attack. I believe, if I'm not wrong. And Let's Go Kane says Uncaged Panther. And also, I always trust my gut feelings. I think it's similar to what Coding said earlier on. If you got something that you want to do, like that is, of course, legal. If we start that right there. But pretty much, if you've got something like if you want to travel or something, like as soon as you are able to do it safely, like just do it, because of the fact that you never know when you're not going to be able to do it type thing. That's why I think these commentary ones are so much fun, because like we sit in the lounge and just chill out watching rugby. And like, I don't think I would rather be anywhere else on a Saturday night. We have got the Shush. And also we've got the, he's been on your channel for quite some time. Maybe he's just tired. Let's assume that as our sense of fashion. And also he was the best spinner of all time. Exactly right. Leg spin, the king of it, as other way he would get it to spin. Okay, now the Highlanders got to try and get this ball back from the Hurricanes. We have got the scrum feed, and also we have got, I reckon, Shane wins race 1. And there says Aiden. Currently, I'm going to sound like a little bit of a rally car noob there, but where is it taking place? Aiden, do let me know. Who knows? Maybe Isaac will want to do some commentary for it. Maybe. And Albert and Iosi breaking off the back. He's always dangerous and always has got plenty of power and pace. He's just made about 30 meters. I love your videos as well. Says Noah Smith, do appreciate it a lot, mate. Retreating here, the Highlanders having to try and really keep themselves in a defensive line, but Salisi Rayasi trying to change that, held up almost by Marty Banks. This is about 3 phases for 40 meters here. While the Hurricanes inside ball off to Devon Flanders, moves up to the 22 now. Continuing to just build and build and build. Ruben Love back to Barrett. Now Umunga Jensen, where's his brother? Is he going to be able to tackle him? He's going to have to, because he's running straight through. Ball on the inside. Logan Henry scores it. And that's going to be his try. Plays, I believe, for Manawatu. And that will be one that makes Jamie Booth very happy. And Eastern Creek and Sydney, it starts after this game. Says Robert there, and also Sydney, and there says Aiden there as well. That is a brilliant run for Logan Henry. He's only been on the field for about 5 halves of a second, and he is already scoring himself a try there. And Henry scores it in the 69th minute of this game. That is the 3rd try for the Hurricanes. And yes, boy, up the Canes. And there says Paddy Wagon, said exactly like Justin Marshall, if he was, of course, going for the Canes. He enjoys a yes, boy, every once in a while. But Scott Gregory, the defense was just lacking a little bit there. Didn't have the pace. Ball on the inside to Logan Henry. And Shane Warne was vaccinated twice as on there. Says MH. What does MNRA mean, MH Troy? Because I know that he had all of his vaccinations. That's what you're referring to. And also we've got that now. That's a try, says Clint the Fox. It is indeed. And he's in my new multi. Says Aiden. The fact that you've had to say you've got a new multi means that your old one was not successful. Possibly. And also 69 minutes is says Henry Samuel. Yes, it is. It is 69, that number. That a lot of people do find funny. And also, who are you going for this game, Harish? Says Robert. I mean, I love the Hurricanes kit. I feel like if I was to buy a kit of Super Rugby, it would probably be the Hurricanes. Bro, fist bump in there, says Brett. I mean, I could fist bump myself if that counts. That good? Hopefully. And also, Canes, and also wait a Shane Warne dead. Yeah, he was found dead in his hotel room in Thailand just a little bit earlier on, but they were suspecting a heart attack rather than foul play. And also, why don't you? And there says Henry Samuel, why don't I find the number 69 funny? I think it's just because I've been to high school and like we kind of gotten over that stage. Well done for Peter, Umunga Jensen and Lose. And there says Clem the Fox and Hurricanes ruthless. Arg. And there says it was MH. I feel like you typed those perfectly for how they sound. It's onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, I think that's how you say it. Anyone who does want an English lesson for that one in terms of the terms and whatnot, onomatopoeia is when a word is written the same way as it is said, such as boom. That's onomatopoeia. You're welcome. That's $5. Thank you. I am not a free teacher, but I am one who just does stuff. And also, let's see the people who passed on and get commentary as well. And it says Karasan also died at 2 a.m. Sydney time, and also most 10-year-olds find the number 69 funny. And also we have got there, the Hurricanes kit. And there says Sam Henry and also Logan Henry too good. And my says Aiden for that one. But currently now it is going to be fed in. Marina McAley, 2 off the back, getting driven backwards, and a great tackle by Devon Flanders. Do you play Fortnite? I do not. Stage, I can't remember the last time that I did play it. And it's natural just telling it as well. That one is going down once again. It's a loose ball. It's going to be a bit of a draw on pass there. Manakai Selby Rickett. And also we have got there certain vaccines are going to increase risk of heart attack. It is MH Joy. Currently now 40 metres out from the line. Shannon Frizzell rush defence. Who's that in a ball? I thought it was Ethan de Groot, but I'm not too sure because Daniel Leonard Brown is also out on the field there. And do you think Moana Pacifica played good? I thought they played very good in their game up against the Crusaders. That one's going to be a knock-on, and it is going to be still the Abanajati Savia just jumping all over the Highlanders. And now it is going to be going back for the original scrum. Now the Highlanders, they are 2 tries behind. They've got 8 minutes. Try and get themselves back in this match. If the Hurricanes, score themselves one more try, they actually get a bonus point win for this match in Fortnite. As I said, Betty, in what position would you like to play when you play rugby, says Jason. I think I'm probably a halfback. Just because I talk way too much, and also I'm not the biggest lad out on the field. So I feel like that's a perfect combo. Like, you pretty much just have to tell everyone how good or bad they're doing. You just go to your prop, oi, run a bit faster, and then he chases you all around the park as well. Now it is currently going to be a free kick taken by Marino Makaeli Tu'u. Offloaded back to Marty Banks, who was wrestled down by Peter Umangajensa, who looks very similar to Pori Rakiti Stones. And also, when are you going to do a Rugby Challenge 4 stream? I'm not too sure when the next one we have got coming up. That's a good run from Thomas Umangajensa. Both Umangajensa brothers doing nicely. Imagine them as the midfield combo for the All Blacks in 5 years' time. Just both Umangajensa. And also, I told you what, on Discord. Oh, so that was, okay, that makes more sense. I just saw it pop up and I was like, okay. And also, Islanders need to score soonish to get back into the game. And what team do you want to play for if you had a choice? I mean, theoretically, I should say Hurricanes because I like their kit the best. So, I would say maybe them, but then also I'd probably be better off being in the South Island just since I'm from here. But then, the Crusaders, if you go on halfback-wise, they've got 3 already. Teito Rautuhiri, Brune Hall, Mitch Drummond. So you're not exactly going to get a lot of game time. And if your passing is good, then you're a scrum half. If your kicking is decent, fly half. And there's, I can't really kick too well at all. I mean, I can get the occasional goal kick over. And also to the Blues when they did indeed 24 points to 22. Close game up to the 22 now for the Highlanders. 10 phases in. Smith looking away to his left. And it's going to be Ma'u almost had the ball ripped away from him, hands straight on the ground for, I believe that would have been Tavita Mafaleo. And also here's in, hey, this is Finners McCarthy. Welcome in. I'll play the orange peeler. And that one, I feel like that's an important job, isn't it? And also, does everyone support? I feel like that's probably something we can't go too much into. Josh Dixon, he gets it down. And that's going to be the try to the Highlanders, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go like this. And Dixon has been able to score the try. And that is in the 74th minute. So there's still a little bit of a late fight here. And the Highlanders, can they somehow get themselves another very soon? And also, Hamish, can you do me a favor? I need the Highlanders to win. I don't want to deal with my father when the Hurricanes win, thanks as well, says Ellie. I mean, at this stage, it's working not too bad. At this point in time, a long time no to see. And they're from Finland. It is good to see you, mate. And prediction, Waratahs versus Brumbies. I would say Brumbies take it by less than 10. That one, just for you, I voted Highlanders and Hamish's poll, says Robert there. And also right in front of the sticks, simply unmissable, one says Sebastian. Although, we've seen them miss before. I got some JK in there, and also we have got there, what's your favorite game? And there, I assume if we're talking Xbox, I like Hitman, the Hitman series. What stadium they at? They are currently here at Sky Stadium. The Brumbies game is going to be played at GIO Stadium. As I tell you that, Hurricanes hit a 16th player, or had a 16th player in the referee log, and I was like Taranaki. And there's Conserve. That one's gone over, and now the score is going to be 14 points to the Highlanders, 21 to the Hurricanes with still 5 minutes left in this one. His left post still a magnet. It seems to be a little bit, doesn't it? Everything's getting drawn over that way. Who do you want to win? I mean, now that I know that there is a chance at Golden Point, I kind of want another Highlanders try, and Taranaki is the best. They did very nicely out of the Bunnings NPC, that is for sure. Josh Dixon putting the ball down. Brilliant try for him. And Manakai Selby-Ricker, actually another try scorer. Have we had any backs score tries in this game so far? I'm going to have to wait for the names to come back across. Other than, of course, wait, I'm just going to have to have a quick look. So we had Rickety Stones as a prop. Also Proctor. Proctor is the one try scorer for the backs. And then also Henry halfback. He kind of counts, doesn't he? He's half of the back. But Selby-Ricker and Josh Dixon, currently the two have been able to score for the Highlanders in close game. And it's going to be big. And that one says Alice Revealed now firing it back once again. 3 minutes left, and he does kick that one downfield. Marty Banks looking for the 50-22. There's space as well. It's slowly curling. It's going to be taken back by Julian Savia. Passes it across to Geordie Barrett, who looks like he wants to run it out a little bit. Now on the left boot. Does kick it for the touchline. Get some good distance on it. Hurricanes have 5 hookers and 5 halfbacks in there. In close game, 7 points difference. This should be good. And are you doing the Australian game, says Conserve? I am indeed. We are going to be doing the match between the Brumbies and the Waratahs. That will be starting kickoff in an hour's time, but we will be starting at 9:30 for that matchup. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got thoughts on Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's performance today. I thought it was solid. I thought taking him off rather than Harry Plummer wasn't the best choice for the Blues. It worked out in the end for them, but I would have actually had Plummer go off the field for Barrett. And then from there, Tuivasa-Sheck and Barrett get a little bit of, I guess, acquaintance between the two of them. And halfback 6. And there's Jason Little knock on by the Highlanders. Mistake that they did not need there. Aaron Smith asking the question. And it's going to be the knock on. Let's go. And there's his Conserve. So, yeah, that game should be a very exciting one as well. And the Brumbies, I mean, they'll have their hands full. The Waratahs are a lot more tough this year than they were last year. That is for sure. I bet you now that I've said that, they lose by like 40 points. Oh. Okay, did Artie Savia get his hands involved in that one? Perhaps they did enforce the scrum. And also, Fiji played good against the Rebels. They played very well. And I think they're just starting to find a little bit more of their momentum as well for the Fiji and Rua side. Currently now, Aaron Smith, he's had 3 carries, 1 try assist already, only 2 minutes left. The Hurricanes, more than likely, I would think, will win the scrum and kick it as far down the field as they physically can. There's no point risking it while you are this close, or else then the Highlanders can kick it for the corner and try and get that rolling more going. That's moving a little bit. Going to be put in. Too much movement, and it is going to be another scrum reset that uses up a little bit more time on the clock. And also, we've got the MH choice if, and the unconserved Hamish's voice, or if Hamish's voice hold up. And yeah, at this stage, it sounds not too bad at the moment. So hopefully it does last. And how did Roger Tuivasa-Sheck go with the Blues? Not bad, but not really a standout in this game. We saw him more in that first match up against the Hurricanes. But I think that was because the Chiefs were really bringing it, keeping that pressure on them. I'm excited for season 2. See what happens for me and Sam as well, says Brandon. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And go Hurricanes, says Coach Ifang. Welcome back to the live stream. Hope you're doing well, mate. Currently now, Logan Henry feeding this ball in. Only a minute left on the clock now. It's a penalty now for the Hurricanes, and that's going to be the free kick. And they can use up just a little bit more of the time on the board now. We go on to the scrum again here for the Hurricanes. And come on, Canes, one more try. We'll lock it in as well, says Jason. And that's the thing. Now that they've lost their chance of being able to get the bonus point, they will be just looking to close out this game with themselves as a win. They will get a bonus point there. The Highlanders, it will be their first point if this is the way that it sits at the end of the 80. Caleb Clark, unlucky with the yellow card, says Neville. In some regards, I guess you could say, but also I think the comment that kind of made me go, okay, that's fair enough, was the fact that they said that he was also offside for that one. So he ended up in that situation of pretty much being offside and deliberately knocking it down. Aaron Smith fighting for the ball. He's got it back, but it's a penalty to the Hurricanes now. And also, we have got there, what did you think about the Hurricanes versus Blues? It was a very good match, right down to the wire. And we've just had a beer alert near a high school in town, lovely Transylvania. Beer alert. I mean, here we're like, oh, it's raining a bit heavy. We'll have to be careful. We leave school not to get too wet. You're like, oi, don't turn your back on that bear because he might be hungry. So be sure to just go around him, just get picked up and go home. We'll just leave the beer there, I guess. And also, see you, Landers, says Jason there. And also, we have got actually 2 back scored, should score tries. And there says Paddy Wigan, but that will be the end of this game. 21 points to the Hurricanes and 14 for the Highlanders. So they have been able to get themselves a bonus point there, the Highlanders, for being within 7, but will not quite be enough to get themselves the win. But that is the end almost of this live stream. Yogi Bear as well says JA's there. And yes, Canes, well done. And hard luck, Landers. And then see your Landers in there as well, says Jason. But currently, I mean, we've still got some very exciting contests. These 2 sides, Hurricanes next week, they will be taking on Moana Pacifica. That is the first game on the Saturday, and then followed by the next match that will be taking place, and that will be the Highlanders. They are actually on Friday night, in fact, and they will be taking on the Blues in a rematch of what we saw from the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman final a little while ago. And yes, let's go Canes. 2 on the trot, and also cheers for the commentary, bro. Says Britt there in the chat. Do appreciate you being here. Hopefully, we do get to see you here for the Waratahs versus Brumbies game that is going to be taking place in about, we're starting in 40 minutes time. So be sure to stick around and let's go the Brumbies. And there says Adam. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Try scorers in this game, Selby, Ricken and Dixon were the 2 who scored it for the Highlanders, and then also for the Hurricanes. They were able to get 3 tries in this matchup. First one, Rakadi Stones, followed by Peter, or sorry, it was actually Proctor who did score it, and then Henry scoring last. Another satisfactory late night for me, says Glenn the Fox. And also it's RO Alert, national alert system. Everyone in a specific region gets a notification when something unusual occurs. The strange part is they should be hibernating now, but the fella is hungry. And there says Sebastian, also good stream. Thank you very much, mate. And also thank you very much, says Emma. Sure, but nonetheless, thank you all very much. 5 a.m. Geez, it's certainly a late night. Well, this one, but we got one more game, the Brumbies, and they are going to be taking on the Waratahs. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.